live. Going live. Says we're live. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
All right. I hate this part where it says you're going live and there's that little bit of a delay, and I know everybody's hearing this, and I'm just waiting for it to switch over. But anyway, hey everybody, welcome. We still have about 5 minutes before we get started talking today. But as we always try and do every day, just give you a couple minutes. Go get whatever it is you need to drink, and go to the bathroom and get everything set. Maybe to even turn your Fantom on so you can follow along with us, and we can get it going. I am logging into the chat here myself, so just hope everybody's doing good. On FaceTime, we upgraded, not on the phone, but on FaceTime audio. We got Scott Berry. Yeah, so yay, Scott Berry's on there. Let me turn down my audio on the iPad. So
I see we've changed up the background screen too. It's now gray.
It's now gray, like your heart. So it's
It's more black.
more
like my
black.
soul, but,
Yeah. And I let it so you can see some of the camera shelf. Let's see. A little bit of the camera shelf there with the camera and gadgets and other stuff. But yeah, you can see the white paper, seamless, and the green, which if I want to go to the beach, I could put the green and then the black in there. But it's all good. I felt like the gray, and see how the light's hitting the gray. That's totally cool. Look, on the side here, you guys can see I have a fluorescent light right there on there, and then another one right there, and that's what's lighting that. But then I have different lights lighting me. Woo, cool stuff. Hello from Calgary. Hello, Roy. Hello, Robin Spears from Calgary. Yeah.
Hey, Roy, how you doing, man?
Oh, thanks. Roy says the pink background would look good on Ed. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I guess. I don't know what to say about that. Okay. Let's see. Roy, you get a 5-minute timeout, Roy. 5 minutes. So I don't think I could get pink. I have nothing against the pink background, but I don't know. My camera store, I think, is closed right now. So we're on, what is it called, Scott? Self-shelter, I think it's called, or sheltering, or I don't even know.
Yeah, it's self-isolation, or as they're doing this, Roland at home or stay
Awesome,
at
Roy.
home or whatever. Yeah. It's all been good. I know it's tough for a lot of people out there. Some people, it hasn't changed much. I know, like for Ed and myself, it's actually gotten a little busier, a little bit crazier. We're just trying to do what we can to keep everything moving and keep everybody happy and something to do and so on and so forth. And just thanks again for everybody hanging out. Yes, Roy, you are more than welcome. I hope that definitely helps. And I see some of your posts on the Fantom forums. And thank you so much for doing that. Very cool.
Quick shout out to Esquire from Finland. I don't know I don't think I can do a Finnish accent. I don't know. We got to get David Allen on here.
Don't.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to cause an international incident right now. Let's see. Roy. Oh, Scott, you helped Roy buy a Fantom in L.A.? Oh, good job, Scott.
He bought a Fantom 7.
Oh, from iHomie. Cool.
Yeah, he was one of the early people that showed up, and we just hung out and went through stuff. Whatever demo I had planned got shot because we just kind of went as we went, and it was really, really, really great experience. It was very cool.
Shout out to Marktronics. He says he wants that shirt at Diaz. This shirt that's for sale on Teespring? What? At the Ed Diaz store? What? No, I'm just playing. Yeah, that's actually true. So it's, so got to do what we got to do. Got to buy more gear. Got more gear. You know what the worst part is that I'm into cameras now too, and camera gear is just as expensive or even more than the keyboard gear. It's pretty crazy. So yeah.
Talk about getting into expensive products. It's like I wanted to be a guitar player. That would have been a guitar, some pedals, some nice amps, and you're kind of done. But no, I had to be a keyboard player. The average keyboard's $3,000.
Yeah. So and then the computer stuff now. Hey, Marktronic says that your phone call sounds better. Yeah, Mark, we're going through FaceTime audio this time, so everything's digital. And you guys can't see it, but I'm going to do a video after this. Take a little bit of break today. I'm going to do videos on how to stream using the Roland VR1 HD and the VR4. Here, I'll show you guys real quick. Let me get this up for you. yeah, I was going to show you guys how to do this, so you can do it. And I'm using OBS here. Let me show you the computer screen. Oh, not that, not yet. I will show you here. Check this out, guys. This is kind of cool. Let me open this in a new link there. So just while everybody's getting coffee and whatever they need to drink, we're about to get started. But I'm going to do videos on these streaming switchers that I'm using. And I tend to use two of them. I use the VR1 HD. I use that one at my desk a lot when I'm doing any kind of consultations with people, or we're just talking, or just with coworkers, and I want to show my screen or the iPad myself and all whatever. I use the VR1. When I'm shooting pretty much all the Roland videos, and right now what I'm using is the VR4 HD. That one is pretty cool. That has, well, the big difference is the VR1 has 3 HDMI inputs. The VR4 has 4 HDMI inputs. And then I have on the way, hopefully it'll be here this week, the VR50, which gives me a lot more options. And that's going to be pretty cool. And then hopefully on the way, it's not a streaming mixer, but I just like learning, is I'm going to get this, hopefully this video switcher is on the way. And here, this new one from Roland, our professional audio video, is the V8, and this is pretty cool. I could get eight HDMI signals in there, so I think that might be the way, because then I could hook up my 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, and then I could hook up a GoPro, and then I could hook up the iPad, and then also with the computer, and I can just jump around as needed. So I think we might switch to that, and I might have this one piggyback onto the VR4. Just go on the HDMI out of this into one of the HDMI ins of the VR4, so I can give even better videos and show you guys more, and use the iPad and the computer and all this stuff simultaneously. So that's just a little quick look at what I'm using. So.
There's also the Go Live.
Oh, let me show that.
Brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even show that stuff.
The thing with that is that it's really, really portable. You can throw that in your backpack or your luggage or whatever if you're streaming.
Oh, here it is.
Whatever, and I think you get like 2 inputs on that, and also audio.
Yeah, this would actually be good for most people. I'm trying to get one right now, but these little guys are tough to get. Yeah, these are pretty cool. You can go ahead and have 2 different, basically kind of mobile devices. You can 2 different ones, say like your iPhone or your iPad, or 2 phones, and have them hooked up, and you can use them both simultaneously. And this little gadget has, and I'm just going through pictures right now, you can go ahead and plug a microphone in there, and if you look, it also supports phantom power. So I could use this nice SM7B on this guy as well, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think you go through the app. I'll know more once I get it, but if I can get it, I'm trying to get one right now, and this is a great little gadget. So try and get that too, and that's available now if you look. And then also, just so you know, if you look up some of these products, there are some specials running down right now at different music dealers. So at different dealers, so you can see if they can bring one out to your car. I did that the other day, Scott. I had to go get that adapter. I said in episode 6 I needed an adapter for my other computer, and so I went to my local big box electronics store, and they came out to my truck through the driver's side, and I had to roll down my window, and they yelled at me, "Hey, what's your phone number? We'll call you." And I bought my Apple adapter that way. We stayed definitely social distance away, 6 feet or actually more, and that's how I had to get my stuff. So,
which I think is kind of cool,
cool
in a weird way. At least the company's still functioning, you know what I mean? And you're still able to get what you want as long as you know what you want, and stops people from wandering around in the stores.
Yeah. Well, I'm a nerd, so I put up on the phone. I had the actual SKU, and they were like, "This is awesome." Yeah, so I made it real easy. Let's see some more people. Hello, Kaznia, hello. And let's see, Scott said hello. He beat me to it. And hello from France. I said, I can't say your name. Avreg Music. That's cool. Let's see. Mark Tronic says he works in film and television as a camera operator here in Hollywood. So all of this is familiar to me. Looks like the Mark II has some yeah, the Mark II, the VR50 HD Mark II has some HD and SDI inputs. Yeah, so we'll see if I'm gonna see if I can score some SDI cameras, but right now it's hard to score a lot of stuff. But you can just check out with your local camera dealers and your different electronic stores, and either they can mail it to you, or if you, especially in Hollywood, you could probably go to maybe Sammy's or wherever you go to, and they could probably just bring it to your car, prepay for it, and then come to your car. All right. Is everybody ready? I think we've kind of given you enough time to like shake it around, go get something to drink. It's already 2:05 here in Texas, and I guess we wanted to talk. What do we want to talk about today, Scott? What was on the docket?
Well, we're getting back into the Fantom. We wanted to show the integration with MainStage,
Yeah.
but also possibly step backwards and just show the quick DAW control and Logic if we have the chance. And of course, any questions that you guys have, we'll definitely try to address and go through and see what we're going through. Again, a lot of the stuff that we run into, new computer or an older computer that hasn't been touched like this, will run into little issues, which are great to show live, because you watch regular videos and other things and it's like everything just goes seamlessly, and sometimes that's not true or real to the real world. So overcoming these issues and things like that is kind of fun to go through, and it gives you an idea of what we go through on our own when we're doing stuff.
I love it. Tortog says, bring it on. Bring it on. We're going to bring it on. So, hey, just so you guys see, I'm actually using just my MacBook Pro 2018. I'm using it, and you see all the adapters on the side there. I have HDMI going, a couple of USB, and then a power and all that stuff. So, a lot of stuff going on. So, like, one of the blue cables is for the Fantom. The other blue cable is for the VR 4 HD going through HDMI 3. And then you see that other corded cable. That's the HDMI from the MacBook going into one of the inputs of the VR4. So it just thinks the VR4 is another monitor. And then, of course, my power cable. So a lot of stuff. All right. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I think Scott's right. Maybe we'll try and back up first onto Logic. Let me go ahead and I will close. There we go. I closed the MainStage, and let me open Logic real quick. Let me see if I can get this open real fast. And like I said, I switched computers because that other computer, I need to do some major housekeeping of it. Like I said, I haven't used it in a couple of years, and especially for any kind of serious processing. So I wanted to get that going. Okay, great.
The other thing too is that to use the DAW control in Logic and to use the control with the smart controls and things with MainStage, on the website, the Roland website, you need to download and install the MainStage and Logic profiles. Once those are in the machine, then it should recognize it and be able to connect like that. But just so you know, the Fantom will work with any DAW as the audio interface and have 16 individual or 16 stereo outs through USB and MIDI through USB and everything else. It's just that Apple was the first company that was like, hey, we want to work with you on doing this, and that's why we have these DAW controls.
And while Scott was talking about that, I brought up so you guys can see where I get all the downloads in there. So you can see very quickly toward the bottom of this, the updates and drivers. That's where you're going to get the control surface plugins for Logic and the profile for MainStage. But then also you can easily see where you get the system program, and then also see where you get the drivers for Windows and also Mac 10.15, 10.14, and then all the other different Mac drivers there for the other OSs. So that's where that is. All right, so now that I have that open, let me go ahead and drag Logic over. Boom. Okay, there is Logic. Let me just center it up for you guys so you can see. There we go. That should be good. All right, so I think this is from... Oh, I recorded a phone call of a friend. I was doing some testing. I won't play this because this is actually kind of funny. But let's go ahead and do a new one. Let me see here if I can just see. So we'll go ahead and do a new project. I'll go ahead and close this one, and then I'll bring this over so you can see it. Oh, there we go. And you see right here, it was using my old interface, which was the studio capture, which that's on my desk. But now I'm going to tell it to use the Fantom 6, 7, and 8 right there. Output device 6, 7, and 8 right there. And today we're not going to really focus on Logic. We're going to be focusing more on MainStage. So not going to go through it really in there. But I just wanted you guys to see it is using that. And I can have up to 16 tracks, audio tracks. And each one of these can be Fantom. So just so you see, here we go. I can have all
in a
that
previous episode, we went through the recording through the USB, the difference between mix and parallel options that are in the USB. So if you want to learn more about that or didn't catch that episode, please go back and watch. This is just kind of a continuation briefly over of a part we weren't able to get to work because of an older computer, cable, something.
Which I got it working all now. So I want to show you the top of the Fantom. So we're at the Fantom here. I'm going to hit the DAW control button right here. And survey says it works fine. So there's DAW control, just so you guys can see. And I didn't do anything different to my MacBook. The only thing I did to my MacBook was make sure that I installed the necessary profiles from the Roland website, which was the control surface plugin for Logic and the profile for MainStage. Okay.
And the other thing, what operating system is this computer on?
Let's check real quick, and give me 1 second, and I will tell you. I'm going to there about my Mac, and this particular computer is 10.15.3, and there you should be able to see what my computer is. That's good to know. So you
Catalina.
Catalina.
Yeah, you're on Catalina.
Yeah,
I think we had somebody talking about they couldn't get the DAW control to work on Catalina. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's obviously working here, just so you know.
Yeah, it's working fine. I know, like a lot of you, I was a little bit not skeptical. I was a little bit hesitant about going right away to Catalina because I'm not only using my music programs but also my video programs such as Adobe Premiere. So I had to wait until all of that stuff was supported by Catalina. So it's all working now. So if you're waiting on going to Catalina, ultimately it's up to you. Do not do what I say, but Catalina is working with the Roland stuff. With the Fantom for at least, and RDs and other things. So we got it all working.
A safety tip or a word to the wise. Whenever there's a new operating system for Windows or Mac or anything like that, always check and make sure that all your stuff is going to work. I've seen a lot of people just go ahead and update, and then Pro Tools or somebody hasn't set up something and it's going to be several months out and you're stuck. So just, word to the wise, always check to make sure whatever you're running is going to work on a new operating system.
Yeah, take your time and just check real quick. Let's see. All right, so I am going to get this guy open real quick, and let me get out of here so you guys can see. All right, so I have MainStage up. First off, is everybody with me? Hello, Jerome. Bonsoir. And I see you there. Is everybody with me? You have any questions? Because we're about to get started getting into MainStage here with the Fantom. So go ahead and shoot your questions across if you have any real quick, and we'll give you a second. And then I'm going to officially open MainStage all the way. And also, if you have any suggestions for future synth talk episodes, let us know. Maybe we should do one on how to use Ableton and the Fantom. That could be good. It's been a minute, but that way we can show that the Fantom does indeed work with Ableton. That could be totally cool. And I have Ableton 9, but it'll still work. And then maybe we could show. I have to get a copy of PreSonus. What is it?
Studio One.
Got to get Studio One. And I think they have a free version, and maybe we could do episodes on that. You guys let me know. Let's see, what else do we got? So that's pretty much this series is here for you. So it's if there's certain things you want to see, let us know in the comments, and then after this live stream is over, put it in the comments there. Let us know in the chat here. And then also let us know in the comments after the video is published and available at any time on YouTube. And once again, if you're digging what you're seeing, make sure and subscribe to this channel, but then also put the like or my one dislike. There's always one dislike guy, which it's kind of hilarious. It's great. And then, but I don't want you to dislike. But okay. But then also hit the bell for notifications so you know when we put out new content and stuff like that. But since we're talking about content, before we get into MainStage, also please make sure and go to Roland Product Support on YouTube. Just a quick one for maybe some of your newbies on there. Go there, and there's a lot of great content, tons of great videos. If you're not sure where to go and find what you're looking for, always go to the playlist tab, and then in here we have the playlist separated by the instrument. So in the Fantom right now we have 29, and then on the XM we have 20, and we'll have probably 21 later today. The Jupiter X we have 8 right now, but as the Jupiter X starts to hit the streets, you're going to see more content for that coming soon. So just giving you a quick shout to hey, there's a lot of stuff out there for you. So let me read real quick. Greg Bozer, he says, DAW control isn't the problem with Catalina. You can change programs and use the smart controls from the SAW control screen. What you can't do when it is installed is send and receive PCs from scenes. Okay, program changes from scenes. We can try. Let's try that. Let's see that. Yep. We will try. We'll try and do some stuff. Like I said, this is, we're always learning things. And last night I had some questions about the RD, and I went through them last night, and I got to go through and I'll talk to this about that.
Yeah, that was a question with Logic. Greg was the one when we were doing the other Logic episode with the Fantom and the problem he was having. I misspoke with my memory, and when he brought that up, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was the issue, not the DAW control itself.
So
trying to do that.
What was the issue? Sending program changes from?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Using the DAW control and being able to send program changes.
Yeah, because when you're in DAW control, it's like that's there, and then you can't send once if the DAW control's up, it's like it kind of ignores what the Fantom top of the screen is doing, doesn't it? It's kind of in a weird way. Is that what we kind of realized? We'll figure it out. Let us discuss this. Maybe this can be something we can do in a next episode. During this time when we're at the house and some of us aren't going out, this is a great time to learn, and we can do a lot of one-on-one. Well, I guess a group class with you guys. All right, let's Scott, put that on the back burner, and Greg and
make a note.
Jerome, make a note. We're going to go ahead and we'll dig into that some more, thank you, Robin. All right, let's get started into MainStage and the Fantom. So you see I have MainStage started up, just chose, and I'm just going to choose this Alchemy. I just always go to this Alchemy because it has a lot of stuff already ready and don't have to do anything. And on the audio output, if you installed everything correctly, from the website, and you have inside your Fantom, if you have your Fantom menu, and we'll go into, I could touch it, system, and then we go into vendor mode. If you have your Fantom set in vendor mode, it's going to send out audio and MIDI over USB. So that's something that you have to do. And so you get two choices, and I just press the enter button. You get two choices. Remember, generic only sends MIDI over USB, and vendor sends MIDI and audio. And if you select vendor, you have to do, after you select vendor, you have to do a system write, so it writes it in the system, and then turn off the Fantom, and then turn it back on. So, and then, it'll be set in vendor. Okay, so if you did that, and if you went to the website and you downloaded the proper drivers, these drivers right here, depending on your OS, and then also the Surface plugins and profiles, you should be good. Okay, so just make sure you do that. A lot of issues are caused by that right there. Make sure your Fantom is in vendor mode, and then make sure you have the proper drivers for your OS in there. All right, and I think we did a video on that. I think I did a video on that on Roland Product Support, so we can check that later. All right, let's get into it. So Here we go. So everything seems to be proper on my Fantom. I'm going to choose the Fantom as the audio output. So that means everything that I play from MainStage is going to go through my Fantom. So, okay, let's choose that. Here we go. I choose you. All right. Get it going. All right. It's starting up. Starting up. Here we go. I love that part. Open. All right, cool. All right, so here it is here. We have MainStage up, and let's go ahead and see. Go ahead and do split screen. Let me get out of this screen so you guys can see. All right, so that quickly, I have the Fantom hooked up with the MainStage. Let me put this down. With MainStage, and if I want to now, if I press DAW control, and I'll do it here, press DAW control, and yes, so it's already set up. And so that means whatever I want to do, I can go ahead and I can just touch the screen, and I can have it switch sounds for me that way. Okay.
So it's showing whatever you have in your concert and things, but it's also giving you the smart controls right there on the screen. So depending on what you want to set up or what's already sitting there, let's say it's an electric piano and you wanted to change certain settings in there, those would show up. So it's kind of nice with the DAW control with Logic and with this that you don't have to be necessarily in the computer. It can be there, or it could be tucked under somewhere if it's like a Mac Mini or whatever. But just to be able to have that control from the keyboard itself right there on the screen is just really, really cool integration that they did with that.
Yeah, and then you see I have it going right here. I'm pressing the patch knob right here, and as I press that knob, I'll switch over split screen so you can kind of see right here. As I touch this knob, you will see that, oops, showing the same one. Good job, Ed. All right, let me do it this way. Oh, it can't still see. Well, anyway, I'll do it this way. So I'll hit patches on here, and then when I go to MainStage, I'm still hitting those knobs on my Fantom. You see it jump around. So very quick, easy to do it. And you see when we go back to the Fantom, I was using patches, but I could also use a set right here. And if I use set, watch, it jumps to the particular sets. And I'll show you right now on MainStage. So set, and it jumps to the different sets in there. And that's something you could totally determine when you're programming on MainStage. So that could be something pretty cool in there. And now as far as bringing sounds in and out, well, let's see. Is everybody kind of familiar with that? Has everybody had that kind of any success with that? You know, just kind of bringing up a concert and being able to use patches. Everybody cool with that? Just kind of curious where you guys are with that one, because it's really neat if you want to use it live. I know I'm a big proponent of if I'm using MainStage live, I don't want to touch my computer. I want to see my computer and I want to have everything there, but I don't necessarily want to touch it. You know, I want to be able to, if I can, use an external controller such as the Fantom to go ahead and do that. So I'll give you guys a second, but just making sure that we are all on there. So that's cool there. So here's another thing that, let me put this down. Here's another thing is now I can actually have the Fantom integrated, the Fantom internal sounds with the external of MainStage. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let me show this. Greg. Greg wants me to use something other than Alchemy. Would be good. You are only going to get the same two smart controls with Alchemy. All right, cool. We'll try and do that next. So right now, oh, another good one. Can you send program changes from the scene edit? Yes, we'll do that. Okay, let me remind me, Scott. We'll do that in a second. So real quick, just so you guys can see. So this is from MainStage. This is MainStage. So I have my USB audio set from the out, so controlling the volume of the out. And then right here, I can go ahead. That is the Fantom internal. Step on my pedal right here, and I can bring them both in. Put this thing down. So we can go ahead and have and adjust the levels between them. There we go. So we have it. And then if I want to, I can go ahead and maybe go to a different set. And I don't want that monster bass. I want to have maybe some of these other kind of sounds. Right there. Bring down MainStage. So there's Fantom sounds. Here's MainStage. Right there together. So that's just a quick way you can see. Just using those, and I'm just switching patches using the Fantom, and I'll go ahead and bring down the volume of these guys. I'll go ahead and turn them off, or just bring the volume down, and then bring this guy up and get that kind of stuff going in there. All right, so let's go ahead and read some questions real quick while we got that going. Okay, cool. Read some questions. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right, and Greg, don't worry. We're going to start and do some program changes and get that in there. Let's see this. Blah 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 blah. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so let's try and do some program changes on here real quick. I'm going to go ahead, and I've done this before, but let's go ahead and try it again and make sure. So I'm going to turn off DAW control just so I can see, and I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and make some adjustments to my main stage so I can kind of see stuff better. Here we go. Let's see if I can drag this. I want to be able to drag it so I can see. I'm using a different monitor over here. It's only a 720, so I can't see the full image that it's projecting you guys. That's why I'm trying to make it a little smaller. All right, so that should be good. Okay, so the question is, can we send program changes from the Fantom to MainStage? Now, here's what I think what Greg and Jerome are asking. The reason you would do this is maybe I can go ahead and tie in specific patches to specific specific scenes in the Fantom to specific patches inside MainStage. Now, I have done this on the RD2000, so I know the RD2000 does it, and we're going to try it here, and I'm pretty confident it will, but like I said, we're going off the cuff, and we'll see what we can figure out for you. So let's try it. Let's go ahead and let's give it a shot. All right, so I am going to, first off, I'm going to go in my Fantom real quick, and I'm going to go Shift, and I want to go inside. And Scott, please feel free to jump in if you have any thoughts on here. So I'm going to go Shift.
No.
And Scott said no. And I'm going to go into the zone here, and I'll hit the zone. And I'm going to go ahead, and let me just get rid of this so you guys can see. I'm going to go into the zone and go into external, and I'm going to go ahead, and I have it set so I can edit 8. Okay, 8 is set for external, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm transmitting on, I believe it's on channel 1 on MainStage. I got to check, but we'll get into there in a second. And so these are the numbers I'm going to need. The MSB, and you see it CC0, CC32 is LSB, and then we have the program change numbers. And we're going to see if we can lock those numbers to change patches in MainStage, and then we'll go ahead and lock them into a specific scene in the Fantom. So we'll give that a shot right now. So let's go ahead and go into MainStage, and let's see, on MainStage, and we can kind of see Arctic Noise, the patch list. Oops. Let's see if we can do that right here. And I don't want the MIDI input. Let me just take a peek right here. Okay. Oh, where was it, Scott? It was right here. Okay, you see right here. It says, what is that? Bank and patch 1, right? So that's probably right there. That's probably good. That is the hint to where it is. And I don't think I can make it bigger, but see where my cursor is right here, right there. I think that is the big hint right there. So let me go into the Fantom, and let's try that. So I think that might be, whoops, Let's go ahead and cancel. I think, Scott, that might be MSB. That might be one. And here. And let me see if I can get them both to show.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the sound list for the Fantom so it could target stuff going the opposite way. But unfortunately, the website looks like it's under maintenance right now.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna see if we can get these guys to talk real quick. And so that's not the number. And let me go ahead and put it on 0. And I think maybe it's this one. Trying to get them to talk real quick. And like I said, we're just going off the fly, just kind of having fun. And I'm trying to remember what MainStage reacts to. I want to say it's 1. And we're going through USB. Let me just take a quick peek, put it on 16. And we'll see on here. Like I said, just go ahead and let us know if you have some question. Oh, okay. Greg says, by default, it listens to all channels. Thank you, Greg. So we'll go ahead. I'll just put it on 1 for now. That's going to have it transmitting on external USB because that's how it's hooked up. And let me just put it on MSB 00 and see if we can get this guy going real fast because that's how we learn. So you try that. Okay, let me see. We'll see if we can get this going. Shift, get back in there. All right, let me take a look at this guy. Go back into MainStage, and we'll just take a peek at, whoops, that's not what I wanted. We'll go back into here and see if we can find what's going. Oh, there we go. Greg with the safety line. Z said 001. Love it. As a community, we will learn. So let's see. So let's try that, Greg. Like what Greg is saying. So 0, 0, and then nothing responding yet.
Now, what Greg is saying is that once the profile is installed in the MainStage.
Wait, here.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying this is the issue that he's having. Once the profile is installed, it doesn't work anymore for sending. But if it's removed, then it seems to work. So this is what we're trying to test right now and see if we can figure out what's going on.
There's the screen I was looking for, like a big bozo. So, all right, so bank select 1, there we go. There's all the bank selects in there. So that's what. So Greg is saying if we have that in there, it loses that ability in there. So let's go back into the Fantom, take a quick peek in there. So, oops, there we go. Darn it. All right. Darn it, I'm just messing up. Oh, okay, I see what I was doing. All right, so right here doesn't appear to do it. Let's try what he's saying. So I'm going to go into let me move MainStage over here because I can't access because I'm using a different computer screen. I'm going to go into the preferences and here we go. Let me put it back. And I'm going into here. All right, I was trying to get into preferences. All right, so let it catch up real quick.
Yeah, they're talking about uninstalling the profile. And you know what? It is possible that it doesn't work with the profile, and I'll probably try and explain why. When the profile is installed and everything, it's counting on the Fantom being the main thing. And just to be able to use MainStage as a optional synth source or keyboard source or something like that. That could be why, is that they had thought of it when they did it as using it a specific way only. But this is something that we need to look into further for sure, and see how to do it, because any other keyboard controller is going to work a certain way. The Fantom's a little bit different with this profile and things that are in it, but it may not be designed to work the way that we all are asking for it to work right now. We'll just have to kind of see. But that could also possibly change in the future.
Yeah, I tried unchecking something to see if it would grab on, and it's not. So I went into MainStage just so I think you guys were watching. I was letting you guys see. and we were going into. I went into the MIDI here, and I went ahead and said program change range. It said bank select as individual MSB, LSB controllers. I turned it off just to kind of see, and I just wanted to see because sometimes you uncheck stuff and see. Doesn't appear it appears that Greg is probably right. If you uninstall it and reset what you just did, it works fine. Let's see. Now, Greg, we don't want anybody fired. This is something we can figure out, and then it could probably be adjusted. That's the great thing right now with the way we are working. We are set up in teams, and so and I know a lot of our engineers do watch these synth talks. So maybe that could be something we can adjust in that file, in there. So it just determines. We try to make it as easy as possible, but sometimes there are some more advanced features that get overlooked. So that's something we'll have to look at. Because I didn't know that either. Because I'm just so used to doing it this other way. So that's cool. Yeah. So you say to uninstall. Uninstall. Let me see. See, maybe I should do that, Scott. Maybe I should try and uninstall.
Or I don't know if it's possible. I'm not a MainStage expert. Just to create a new profile. I don't know if that would overwrite it.
I keep on pulling this over just so I can see because I'm not using the correct monitor over here. I need another monitor, a better monitor for this. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. And oops. Hold on one second. I lost my cursor, which happens. All right, great. Okay, I'm back in MainStage, and I'm going to see real quick what I can adjust while we're talking about this. Let me see here. And we'll see if we get this going real quick for you. And I am just looking. Provide MainStage feedback. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to try and do that. Let's see. Maybe I will uninstall that later and see if I can get that going for you. Okay, so all right, let me go ahead and try and do a new MainStage. Yeah, you can't have it on your computer? Okay, so let's try here. Let me try and do a new.
And if you were out of DAW control, it still doesn't see it because that's what you were out of, correct?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Who else would I be talking to?
Okay, yeah, I'm out of DAW control. So
okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, so I'm in DAW control right here, and it doesn't see it. Let me do. Yeah, it doesn't see it. So that's true. So I was out of DAW control completely right there, as you'll see in a second. So out of that, and go back to here, and I'm gonna close this concert. And let's do another concert, a brand new one. And this always gets me. Let's see, just doing a new concert. I guess I'll just do the keyboard one. Yeah, just do that one. And then I'll just build from there. And here we go. Get this guy. Go. All right, now we're going straight into MainStage that way. And so if I wanted to create a new patch, of course, create a new patch, untitled patch. And I'm just taking a look on here in the program change. Bank select, I went ahead and put that on. And let's do another one. Let's do a couple more. And see if we can get those to switch up. Because, just trying to figure out and make this work for everybody. And that's in there too. I guess I could let me just delete these guys. Well, let me just go ahead and put those in there. This bank select to see if we get those working. All right, cool. And go ahead.
You guys kind of have a front row seat of how Ed and I will do things sometimes. We'll get on FaceTime or FaceTime video, and we'll do this. We'll go back and forth and try to figure things out. And it's kind of like you have a front row of seat to the painstaking part that we go through.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool in the sense, and I'll try. We'll try different things, and so maybe I'll come into here and I just want to take a look. And I'm not doubting anybody, but you just gotta just check. It's just gotta check. You gotta make sure the stuff isn't working, and that's all good. Let me just change my numbers and just go. Just taking a look in there. Yeah, so okay. Yeah. Just taking a look. All right. Yeah, it's probably right. And then I have to figure out how to uninstall that. Let me see if I can uninstall that profile, because I kind of would like to know if it works myself, so we can see, and then that's something we can go into them and take it out there. I guess I would have to go into, let me see. I guess I would have to go into my Finder, and I guess in MainStage, maybe my MainStage folder. I think that's where it would be, and that's what we're going to go look at. Let's see here. In my music folder, and then in my MainStage, real quick. Hold on one second here. See, Greg, can you read? Greg, excuse me, Scott, can you read?
What am I looking for?
Read Robin's thing while I read some of those questions so we can hear them, and I'll find that MainStage part and trying to find where I can find it to uninstall that, because I would like to see it work with or without the profile. That way we can kind of make sure. What was Robin's question, please, Robin Spears, while I look for this?
He was talking about what would we use to play back audio tracks if we were playing live, and I was just explaining that we usually play live with bands, but if I had to do backing tracks on the Fantom, I would either put them in a sample pad and play them back that way, or I'd have an audio player connected to the Fantom. And then, of course, you could always use your DAW of choice, connected USB, and go through that. So, these are just different ideas. I haven't really thought it through much because, again, like Ed and myself are usually playing live with bands.
Yeah.
So we're just using what we have at that time.
Yeah, I usually play live with bands myself. I personally, at this time, I like the connection I get with the other musicians and playing live. And on rare occasions, I play with tracks. I played along with Logic before just to kind of do it myself and a guitar player. I had Logic going. And at that gig, I was using a FA, and I was using the FA as the audio interface for that gig. And that worked out fine. So I did everything in Logic. If I had to do something, and I would probably also throw it in the Fantom, and as Scott says, I would throw it inside the pads, or I would also have the files probably on my phone to where I could just press play if something went wrong, because as you guys know, that when you're playing gigs, something's going to go down. Either your Mac's not going to work or something's going to happen. So I always have like a backup. So maybe I would have my audio files in through my phone and have them set to come in through the mic line input of the Fantom. And then I would have them come out of either sub 1 or sub 2. So either one of those, sub 1 or sub 2. Also, I did a family wedding a couple years back, and I was doing kind of a DJ kind of thing. I'm not a DJ dude, but what I did is I got the Roland SP404 SX, I think it was, or the SP404, the little pads, and I put all these super duper important songs, the first dance and the father daughter and the mother son dance. I put those all on the pads, so all I would have to do was just press that pad and walk away, and I made sure that all those key songs were in there. So there's a lot of different ways. You can either do it through, like Scott, we were just saying, through a DAW, through the sample pads of the Fantom, through your phone or iPad. Just make sure you turn your notifications off and you put it in airplane mode or what. You have to figure it out. You don't get a call, because that's the scary thing about using a phone. You could get a call, and it's going to be amplified. So, and then also the other way I did it was going through the Roland SP404 sample pad, and I just put those important stuff, those important tunes on there.
You used it more like a DJ player. DJ would use it.
Yeah,
I just play and walk away.
I just wanted it super easy, and I let my nephew, who was just a little kid at the time, I let him do it. So it was like, here, you just press these, and I even had a little label like, this is this, so that way there's no question.
And Robin also asked, how would you go about dealing with a click to a drummer? So let's say you're using backing tracks and you've got a full band going and things. If you had a sequence in the Fantom or anything like that, you can route I believe you can route the click to a separate output. You could send that directly to the drummer. But it also depends on what you're doing. A lot of professional bands that are out there touring are using full rigs, whether if they're Logic, Pro Tools, or something else, that are running backing tracks, backing vocals, and other things. That click is coming from there. So at that point, you're out of the loop as a keyboard player and just listening to what's going on. So it really comes down to where are the tracks coming from, what are you trying to do, and then designing a system that works best for you.
So real quick on that same question, if I was playing live a lot with a band and we're using backing tracks and the drummer needs a click, I would probably use, let's say, Logic or Ableton or one of the DAWs, and I would have a separate audio MIDI interface already set, and then on the back of these, you have multiple outputs. You have multiple outputs here. I would have the main outs probably just for the main backing, that's already pre-mixed. But then I would have a track that was just strictly click or what the drummer needs, and I would have that routed to these separate outputs. Just separate outputs, so that way it would just run directly into his headphones, so get a splitter and go directly to his headphones or whoever needs that feed. So at that point, if you're doing a lot of backing tracks and someone needs to hear a click, that's probably how I would do it. Just get one of these guys and then just route that particular track. Route that track into one of the separate outputs and then just forget about it. That would probably be the easiest way. There's so many different ways. And go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say there was also an app a few years back. I don't know if it's still around, but you could do the same thing. It was coming out of a phone or an iPhone or iPad or whatever you want to use, or Android device. But what it did is that you had your backing stuff on the left side and then you had the click on the right. So it would just be split out, standard, stereo 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch outs or whatever. One went to the drummer for the click, and the backing tracks went to the front of house or whatever's going on like that. So there are simple ways to kind of do that type of stuff. But again, as he said, Ed's giving you another option, and you just have to figure out and design what's going to work for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you real quick for those of you that aren't sure about the Fantom and the how to assign those outputs. Here's how you do it. So first off, I would go Shift, and I would go in so I can edit in here. And I'm going to go ahead and do my internals right here. It's just the internal. And then if we take a look, right, it's that first, let's see, let me make sure, right, we're at the top together. So I'm in tone, right? So I'm in tone, and if you just look over to the right, it says out. If I press this enter button, press it, it pops open. It gives you some options there. So out are the main outs that we have, but then we have sub outs, which is 1 and 2, and then sub out 2, which is 3 and 4. And then we have some other outputs we can use as well. But these are the main ones that you would use if you wanted to maybe have something else go out to a different one. And I bet you, I think we could do that with the sequence, Scott. It's kind of hard to test here. It's kind of hard to test here because you guys are going to hear it all through the same. But I would guess if we're playing a sequence, I'm going to try it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. Check it out. I'm going to go. I know that this sound. Let's go ahead and pick a scene that already has something. All right, so I have that, and let me just check my levels because that might be kind of hot. All right, so I have that track here, Thinking of You, and let's go inside. So I can probably go inside the pattern mode here, and let's see what we have. So I have these patterns, and let's go ahead and shut down. I want to go to this one. So I see that my drums are on 8. That's on zone 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, not from the pattern area, I'm going to go into zone 8 directly here. And let's see if this works. I'm kind of curious. I haven't tried this. We're going to go into zone 8, and it's set to main. If I set it to sub out 1, it should now be going out through sub out 1 and not through the main. So if that works correctly, you guys won't hear it. So one more before I do it. So here's what we're listening for. I got it set to only play this guy. All right, he is on zone 8. Okay, he's on zone 8. So I'm going to go back out, exit real quick, go back into here. He's set on zone 8. I am going to go ahead and move him to sub 1. Let's see if this works. I'm going through USB, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure right now. Okay, so everything's going through USB, and it might come out through USB. But I think this should work if we were going out through the regular. No, wait. Oh no, I am going out through the main. Let's give it a shot. So I already switched it. To sub out 1. That's drum guy, and let's press play. I'm pressing play. Now let's hear. Survey says. Wait a minute. Where'd he go? Score!
So in that example, you could easily program whatever you wanted for the drummer to hear. But the click itself, I believe you can also route the click, set it up for play.
No, but that would be, let's say that's the click. Let's pretend that was the click on another pattern. So like watch now, guys. So he's not playing now, but now I'm going to go back in to here, shift, and I'm going to turn him back on in the main mix because I had him on the sub, and we should be able to hear him now. Check it out. So pattern again. Now he should be audible. So I think that's what you would do. So if, like as Scott is about to say, if you're doing a pattern, and right now we're just showing 8 that we can have in the song view, we could go ahead. Oops, let's go back. In the pattern view, we can go into a 16-track view. Maybe I set one of these 16 or whatever you want, and all I do is just a click. Maybe all I do is just. That's all I record is the click in a pattern, and I route that pattern to go. Instead of the main with everybody else, it goes through the sub 1 or sub 2, which are over here. So let me move this back. So we have our main outputs there. We have our sub 1 and our sub 2. So those are each 2 outputs. So I hope that helps. That was kind of like, yeah, I hadn't tried that. So hopefully that works. Hey, thanks, Walter. So that could be cool. Click track. How many auxiliary outs? There's the 2 main sub outs, but then also there's the analog filter out, and I just showed you. Let me show you again. It's right here. So there they are, right there. You have the main outs. You have the IFX out 1 and 2. You have sub outs. You have sub out 2, and you have the analog filter out on there as well. I believe that's correct. Okay, so that's pretty much it on there. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Scott, are you still there?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So
no.
Scott's not there. Okay, so as you guys see, there's a couple different ways you can route, and that was a good question. Whoever asked that on there, I'm going to work on
Robin.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah, Robin.
Shout out to Robin.
Obviously, so.
Yeah, to ask that question. So you saw how easy it was. We can go into there. And then just a quick reminder, when we're inside the Fantom, all of the songs are locked into the particular scene. So I don't have to go load song. I just go ahead and go to the scene. And in this case, we have them in yellow. And I could just go ahead and have that. And if I have that pre-routed and saved to the scene, I don't even have to think about it. It's pretty much set to go. So I just go ahead and put a click in all of my different ones, and that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. Let's see, another question from Robin. This is good. So Robin asks, he says, can you copy patterns from one scene to another? Say you create a click in one scene. Can you just copy that pattern to another scene so you don't have to create it in every scene? I don't know.
Yes, no. It's a yes, no thing. It's like you can copy the scene to another scene, which would bring over the patterns already, and then go in and then delete what you didn't want.
Oh.
But yeah, there's not a way to just take a chunk out of a song or a pattern and move it into a completely different scene without doing that kind of, write it in a new designation and then strip stuff out.
So you're saying I could come in, like if I am here, let's say in this scene, this one, and let's say I go into that pattern and I only want, say I just want that. I would have to go into what pattern utility there, Scott? Does that probably be it?
Yeah, but it's not going to allow you. I mean, you can try it. You can grab it, go to pattern utility, and go copy. But I don't think you can paste it to another place.
I'm looking real quick. I'm looking.
Another scene. I mean.
Well, I'm looking right now. It says I can export it, and it says USB memory not ready. Yeah, okay. A11.
Hey, there you go. Now you're thinking outside the box.
So, okay. So what do you think, Scott? I'm grabbing a USB right now.
I think you're onto something. This may be the way to do it. If you export that track, just that single track out, you should be able to import it into a new pattern. So, Robin, thank you for bringing that up.
Let's try.
Great.
Let's try. So what we're saying is if I take, that was pretty cool. All right. So what we're saying here is if I go ahead and if I take a USB thumb drive that's been pre-formatted with the Fantom, I could go ahead and go back into here. Oops, am I showing you guys all this stuff? No, okay. Okay, I could take the Fantom and that USB thumb drive and plug it in and then drag it over into a new pattern. I guess let's try it.
Yeah, sort of. You'd import it, but it almost be the same thing to grab that scene, write it into another spot, and then just delete all the other tracks.
Oh well, let's just try since we are here. And what else do we got to do? Hey, let's try it. So I just plugged in the USB thumb drive, and okay, it says it's ready now. Before we do that, guys, let's go ahead and. I'm still going to do this one. Let me make sure I have a bank over here that's free, and just so we can kind of see. Oops, that I messed up. Okay. Slow down, Ed. Slow down. Okay, cool. So, all right. So here we'll go into bank select, and I'll go into, let's say D16. Okay, so everybody remember that. We're going to go to D16. All right. You remember that, Scott? Which one was it? Okay. So
no.
Yeah,
I mean, this is really can be very, very valuable, especially if you're moving stuff from one Fantom to the other without having to do a full backup and restore. As you can just pull out stuff, save it to the USB key, and then go over and plug that into another Fantom. So I see the advantage there.
Okay, so let's try this. So I'm going back into the A11, and we're going to move it to D16. And let's see what we get. I haven't tried this before. So I'm going to hit pattern right here. Pattern right there. And now that we're there, let's see. I just want this guy. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'll press the stop button. Let's go to pattern utility. And let's export, and destination name. Let's go ahead and, whoops. Let's go to D16. I haven't done this. Is that right? D16. And let's try. Let's try what happens. I don't even know what happens. See, did I do it right, Scott? Let's see, destination. Oh, and what if I did the solo track? Oh, it's writing something. I see it thinking. Of course, I'm just pressing buttons. Okay, I'll let it think. And let me see. I see some more comments that just came in with that in there. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I see here Robin made the vote in initialize scene with just a click track. Keep that and copy that. That's right. You know, Robin just made a good point. Made a vote an initialize scene with just a click track. Keep that and copy that for each scene you need a click with. Yeah, you could almost make essentially a template. You could make a template on the scene and have that as your beginning. All right. Okay, it just happened. It just exported. Okay, so okay. All right, so let's see. Let's see, where do I need to go? Everybody still there? Still hear me? Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and let's see, Scott. Oh, so I guess, guys, I would have to go to D16 right here. I would go back into the pattern. Okay. And let's see, pattern. So there's nothing in this pattern right now. And I'll put it back in 8 view. And then I would go into pattern edit and probably import. And I guess right here, D16. I guess let's try it. Give it a shot. Survey says. Okay. Oh, let me see. Okay, pattern. Ooh, look there. There's all the different patterns. Just taking a look. Oh, wait a minute. So D16. I guess. Hey, look, Scott. Are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Here, look at
so
this.
So it shows you all your tracks.
So these are all my tracks. So I wanted that one. Okay, before I do this, guys, here, just bear with me. Okay, let's go back to that one right there, and I'm gonna hit pattern so we can go in there. I wanted this one. So this one's A8. Yeah, that's A8. Right? Yeah, that's what I want. A8. So if I went back to here. And Robin, this might be right. Let's see. Hit pattern again. Pattern utility. Import. I would want, and I called it D16. That's where we're putting it. That would be so that would be probably 08 A, you think? I think so. Let's try. Import survey says, let's see, boom, boom, boom. So start links, destination. Survey says, let's try it. See what happens. Whoa, look at there. All right, now let's just press the play button and see what we got. Check it out. It's playing the piano. Why? Because we haven't told it to play drums. So I'm going to come over here. Let's choose a drum, and I just hit my drums. And I don't even care what drum right now. Okay. And now let's see if it plays right. Oops. It's still on piano. Oh, I see why, because I didn't choose to edit that. All right. Okay, now we'll go ahead and switch to the drums. Okay, now it should be correct. Hey, look, there it is. So if you guys are watching this, here's what's going on. We were able to go ahead and copy all of the whole pattern, but then we could go ahead and choose which patterns we wanted there. So I guess, Robin, to your original question, do I have to do the click every time? Your one solution was to go ahead and make a template, a scene template, which already had a click in there, which is fine. But then you could actually go in there and save all of those patterns, but then choose which pattern you bring in to the new scene and the new pattern. But keep the caveat is you have to remember either the sound or you have to put it in there, or a type of sound. This is cool. This is real cool, guys. So this means more than even what Robin was kind of going for. This means that you could come up with a cool riff in one track, and then cool riff in one scene, and then you could say, I only want that one. And so as long as you have a USB, you could go ahead and copy it to the USB, name it what you want to name it, something you can remember. I named it where I wanted to put it so I don't forget. And then you were able to go ahead and just grab it and put it in that new scene, in the new pattern, in whichever one you wanted. We could have put it in A1 or AH or whatever. But anyway, this is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go back to some questions real quick. That was a good one. Good job, Robin. Golf clap for Robin. Good job. That was great. All right, let's see here. Hey, Douglas Carmichael. All right, let's see here. I saw somebody ask one, and there was like a Kronos kind of thing in there. Do you remember where that was? I think it was Walter Galindo. Okay. Let's see. Ed, click track. How many ounces physical on the back? Let's see. Okay, I think we got that one for Robin. On there. Multi-track. Oh, well, Walter, we covered the multi-track things on the Fantom, that you could do 16 stereo tracks inside Logic. We covered that the other day. We're going to probably cover it again soon, but this time, instead of using Logic, maybe we can use Ableton on one session, and then maybe we can also do it with PreSonus Studio One. And as far as Pro Tools and Steinberg Cubase, if we can make it work on Logic, if we can make it work on Ableton Live and PreSonus, if you just follow the same basic steps, because the Fantom, even without DAW control, is an audio MIDI interface for pretty much all the DAWs out there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely, Douglas. Seems the Fantom pattern sequencer is similar to Ableton, Bitwig, and others like it. Absolutely, that's totally cool. But as we saw here, you're not just limited to that sequencer. You can also use Ableton or a number of other DAWs in there. Hey Scott, help me with this one. Aaron wants to know. Can the sub outs
be used as effects loops? No, because they're outputs, not inputs. I don't see how that would. I mean, I guess you could run the sub out directly into something, and then take it from there. But it's not going to act like a effects loop like you would have on the back of an amp.
Well, or like probably a mixer. I think would probably be more common. Yeah. There are going to be certain limitations at that. This keyboard is just not going to be able to do, and because there's actually products such as a mixer, for what you're asking there, Aaron, that would probably be more suited for that.
Well, Walter had a question up there.
Oh, okay.
It said, I'm sorry if this has been covered before, but how about multi-tracking audio capabilities on the Fantom?
Yeah.
Or like the Fantom G, Kronos. Well, one of the things that you got to think of with the Fantom G, they did 24 audio tracks. And, Oasis had 16 audio tracks. I believe Kronos, it's the same sequencer, 16, which was great at its time. I don't know how much people are actually using that anymore because of DAWs and because computers have gotten stronger and everything else. You can do audio as far as bring it into a sample pad and then bring it back, and eventually multi-sampling and things like that. But as far as having 16 audio tracks in the sequencer, I don't know if we're going to continue to see that, because the computers are so much more powerful and the DAWs are so much more powerful, and you're limited with doing the audio tracks in the keyboard with the amount of effects and things that you can use in a DAW. So personally, I don't know. It's something I thought was really, really cool, but I never used.
Yeah.
If any of you guys did use a lot of that audio stuff, please let us know. I'd be curious to know who uses the audio sides on sequencers that were out there, like the
Oh,
Fantom or the Kronos.
I misunderstood. So excuse me, not Robin. Walter Galindo's asking if this has audio tracks like the Kronos did and like the Fantom G did. Is that what he's asking? Was that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. And it's like I said, I'm seeing less and less
Oh,
of that now just because of the
here, let me
DAWs.
answer that now that I understand. Okay, so here's what happened, Walter. When the Fantom G came out, we first did it with the Fantom X. We did 16 tracks of MIDI and 8 tracks of audio, which was, kind of a big thing back in its day, which was approximately 2004. But that feature, I think, came in 2006, maybe. So,
For
about
the X,
for
yeah,
the
that
X,
sounds about right.
about right. So about 14 years, let's say. All right, cool. 2008 comes the Fantom G. We had still was it no? Oh, Fantom G, yeah. Fantom G. We had 128 MIDI tracks, which at the time I was like, whoa, shwoo. But and then we had 24 tracks of audio. So here's what happened. As the Fantom G went on, we were asking, players, being guys that are just playing in bands all over, and then also a lot of our pro guys that are out doing the tours, just asking them just straight up, how many of those audio tracks, the 24 that are available inside the Fantom G, how many do you use live, or how many do you really use in the sequence? And the honest answer that I would get from all different levels of musicians was 1 to 0. Okay, and so we're like, okay, you got 24 in there. Yeah, I know. Well, how come you don't use them? It's like, well, if I want to do 24 tracks of audio, I will probably use the computer and use a DAW, and which is fine. So it was just like, oh, okay. And then so we also found out that, well, this is me. I know for sure I did during that time. It's like, well, how many of the 128 MIDI tracks do you use? And we found out that most guys, once again, they would maybe use 8 to 12 max. And if they wanted to do more sequencing, then once again, we started seeing the shift into the DAW world, more into that. And then they would just take that finished audio file or trigger it via Fruity Loops or Ableton Live or Logic or whatever outside of the keyboard. So yeah. So that's why when the FA came out, we didn't have audio tracks into it, and everybody seemed fine because it seemed to really integrate or play well with DAWs. And so we're seeing probably more of that now, more of playing with DAWs. And I got to tell you personally, I've always been a workstation guy because I'm starting to be an old dude. But from the XP series back in '97, I think it was '96, and so now I can go ahead. I love that I can start my project in a scene inside the Fantom, and I'll come up with some cool stuff. And Douglas, we'll show you how to run this guy kind of in a linear way. I'll take what I did linear or what I do in the Fantom, and then once I got my basic idea, I'll go ahead and take it into the DAW, be it Logic or Ableton, and then I'll go ahead and record it as audio. Because going USB audio out of here with the multiple zones being recorded simultaneously, I get a lot. Once it's in the computer, I can go ahead and move stuff around. As Aaron was asking, I could add effects and do this, and then once I'm done with everything, I'll go ahead and throw it back into the Fantom as a sample or just a finished file. So I still use my Fantom a lot more as a composition scratch pad in there, and then
Yeah, and I think that's also why they kind of did something different with the sequencers because of the amount of DAWs and things that are out there. But real quick, to get back to Aaron, when he was asking about can the sub-outs be used as effects loops, and then he said routing it back into the inputs, it all of a sudden struck me and reminded me, Gatto Bus did a really, really cool video where he set the drums to go out, a sub out, and then routed those back into the inputs to be used with the vocoder. So even though he wasn't using a mic, he was using the keys to trigger the vocoder, it was going off of the drum beat. So yes, you can do that. It's just a question of what makes the most sense. I mean, if I could just put an effect on the part, then there's no point in going out and back in and then put another effect on it. But for something like using the vocoder, yeah, that can be very, very cool. So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. So okay. So There's always a way. That's the great thing about a lot of our products here at Roland. Each, like I said, someone like myself and Scott can both have the same keyboard, or our friend David Allen, or Mark Watson, Australia, my other bros out there. We can all have the same keyboard in front of us, and we've done this before in some of our sessions, but everybody will run it slightly different, and it's really kind of neat to see. So it's there's not a specific way all the times. Everybody has a different style and a different way they run stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. Everybody wants to see linear, I guess. They want to see how to run this thing in linear, and so let's go ahead and show you guys that. If you want to see that,
a real
go ahead.
Caveat with that is that when we did the FA and the sequencer would default into a loop mode, you could turn it off if you wanted to and record linear. I think Roland started seeing a lot of people being really creative because it was a lot easier to work in a small section, a couple bars, 8 bars, 16 bars, or whatever, than try to play a 4-minute song straight out without making any mistakes or having to go back and clean it up. So I think that's where part of this came from. The pattern thinking was just work in small sections, and then you have a song mode that you can link everything together in the way that you want. But yeah, I understand the linear thinking because that's kind of what we all grew up with, especially in the early sequencers. You just went from start to finish, wherever that was.
Yeah.
And Ed will kind of walk you through that. I mean, you have up to 32 measures. Who knows if we'll see them increase that or what will change. But I know that the sequencer still has a lot coming for it and things like that. So we'll just have to see when those land.
Yeah, and you know, everybody, talking about, I do like linear as well, but a lot of times when I do a composition or I do a song, I'll do sometimes I'll start off, and I've done this with Scott, I'm like, let's just do one measure, and we'll do a one measure drum loop, and then we'll build a song with just one measure, and then we'll do 2 measures, or we'll start off in 4 measures, and 4 measures for me is typically what I kind of work in, and then the most that I've kind of done linear in one time is 16, and because I think for a lot of music, 16, that's a lot of space in there. That could be a whole interlude, that could be a whole A section or vocal or bridge or whatever. So that's a lot to work with. But let's go ahead and I'll show you guys how we can make this seem like it is a linear sequencer. It'll work the same way. And this is something that once I kind of figured this out, it's like, it's just like everything else. So I'm going to begin. I just have an initialized scene right here. Adjust my camera. I have an initialized scene. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and watch this. As I'm moving up and down on the cursor, it's moving up and down here. And keep in mind, I could go ahead and go into a 16 zone view, which is fine. But in this example, I'm just going to go so I can see 8. I think that's fine. So first thing I might go ahead and do is I might come to 8. And I'm going to say, let me just pick some drums right there. So cool. I'll pick a drums. That's fine. That's all I need on my drums. I'll come in here, and because I'm old school, I'll say I want to put a bass right here. I'll hit that enter button so I can pop it open, and I'll go ahead and I really like this comp bass, this compressor kind of bass, so I'll hit OK. Great, so I have that bass. Maybe we'll go into here and I'll say I want an electric piano, and there's a lot of them, and so I'll go into phaser right here, just pick a nice. Great, so I have that there. Let's do, let's hit OK. Great, let's go ahead and maybe pick a string, so I'll pick from the string category, and that one's fine. Okay, that one's fine. Maybe I'll go ahead on this one, and I'll pick some kind of lead. And let's see, do I have anything saved? That one's, I don't want to use that one. That one's kind of crazy. So we'll pick a lead real quick. Perfect. We'll just use that lead. All right, so I just built a scene that probably what I would use a lot. Okay, so I have my lead. So if I want to just jam out, I can do that. Put a compressor bass, finger bass, phaser EP, string section, just because I can always I'll just leave the pianos. Those are fine, and I just put a basic drums. Okay.
And don't forget to write it. Once you've got your setup, write it.
Oh, so yeah, Scott is absolutely right, because right now we see there's a little asterisk, that yellow asterisk, and if I don't press right and I go to another scene, it's gone. Here, let me do this for dramatic. It's gone. All right, cool. Go back there. So now I'm going to press the right button. I'm going to write it as a scene. Press enter, and I'll rename this, and I'm going to clear all right there, and I might say, this is Ed's song. We'll just go that Ed's song sounds. Okay, cool. So I got that there. So I have that there, and I'll press OK. Great. And this could go back to what Robin was saying, just kind of make like a template. I would probably use this as a template and rewrite it all over. But so we have that set. So now if I move around and if I look in my zones, nothing there. But then if I go to another scene, my 15, boom, they're all there. All right, so that's the first thing there. Here, let me read some comments real quick. Make sure I don't go too far ahead. Blah, 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 blah. Looks like everybody's good. Walter's good. All right. All right, cool. So everybody's with me, hopefully. All right, so now that I have this, now I'm going to go into my pattern sequencer. And don't forget, the other day we did a TR rec. I could have done this way, but like you said, I'm old school like a lot of you cats, and I'm going to go right into here. And I might start with my drums. Let me see if I can do this cool for you guys. Let's go here. Okay, great. So you can kind of see. All right. So I'm going to come into here and I will press record. I'm going to turn down my volume of the Fantom for a minute. Okay. Here, this is what you need to know. If you want to kind of feel like you're running in the linear way, this is what you're going to do. So watch this with me. Personally, I always like count in weight note, which we'll come back to, but you can do one measure or two measure. But here it is. I'm going to go into, instead of when I go to another track, I want it to go to mix, because I'm going to turn on the loop record switch. So I want it to just keep looping. I'm going to put my quantize to grid. Yep. Good. And then I'm going to put my length to maybe 2 measures. Great. And so I should be good right there, and maybe adjust my clock to right around here, 100. All right, cool. So now everything that I do here is going to be in that pattern 1. And so it's going to feel very linear. It's very linear. So I'm going to do weight note for me. Okay, so I'm going to turn up the volume. It's going to be clicking. And then as soon as I touch the pedal or the keys, it's going to start recording. So there it is. And then let's go. I'm just going to do let's just do the basic drums, and I'm going to keep adding to it. And let me go ahead and drop this down a couple octaves so that way it's here so you guys can see. 3. So I have that, but notice it's still recording. So it kind of has that, and the destination track is an 8A. And let's go ahead and do record in, because I'm like, oh. Great, I'll start it. Now it's recording, same way. 3, 4. Stop. I'm ready to record. Let's start recording. Good, that's recording. Say I come up here and I start doing stuff, and I just really mess it up, and I don't like it. I can press erase. I can erase the one wrong note, or I can say erase that group of notes. And then just hold it. Just hold it from there. All right. So we have that. Let's close it. Let's record end. But I didn't stop recording. Whoops, I didn't stop. So now, if I want to, I can press exit one time. And check this out. I can move over, you know, and find what I'm going to do next. Turn down that bass, and I'm just using my slider here. Great. I'll hit the play button to bring up. Let's see. Oh, I'll hit the record button. Bring it right back up. Okay. Exit one time. Bring the record button. Pops it back up so I can see. I just have to adjust my length right there. And let's go ahead and start recording. See. Let's start. See what happens. It's recording on the 1. So now let's bring the bass in there. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 2, 3. We just recorded. That's all I need of my bass. Exit one time. I'll go ahead and let's record. Press the record button. I'm going to put it on 2 measures. And okay, when I'm ready, it's recording. Come in on the 1. It just recorded that fast. Hit record end. Let's exit. Let's move to that string part. I'll adjust my octave. When I'm ready, hit record. I'll adjust it, make some adjustments. Let's start again. It's recorded with everybody. I'll come in on the right here. I'll go ahead and hit record end, but I didn't hit stop. And if I wanted to right here, let's exit. I can go back to 1 and just kind of have some fun. And so you see, we're still doing it in the pattern, but now the pattern, it all kind of felt linear. At least to me, it felt linear in there. I don't know about you guys. Let me go ahead and read some comments or anything you want to bring.
One of the things I was going to say, because you're all on the A line. I mean, these parts could be scattered throughout if they needed to be or something like that. But maybe part of the thing to do is start showing how you can group them and create a song.
Yeah.
So right now, if you were to hit play, everything's going to play.
Yeah.
But we could organize that to where the drums start first and then the bass comes in and then things like that. So we could definitely walk you through that.
Let's do this. So, all right, that's a great one. So I just started with these, but now I want to arrange them. Okay, I want to arrange them right here. Let's see. I guess you don't need to see anything. Okay, I guess I could just take this off, show you there. All right, so I want to arrange them now. So I'm going to go in. Let's go into probably pattern utility right here. Oh no, I don't want to go there. Let's go into not the edit. Let me see. Let me take a minute. Hold on, pattern utility. Oh yeah, I was right. Duh. Okay, I want to go ahead and I want to see this guy right there. I just hit that drum one. I'm gonna copy that drum. Yep. And I'm gonna go right here, right there, and I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna paste that drum there. And then I'm going to paste it there. And then I'm going to paste it there.
What are you doing?
I'm doing an arrangement.
Okay,
now.
Well, this is a different way to do it. I mean, you can do it in the grouping.
Oh, I could have done it in the grouping. like I guess it's because this is kind of how I'm kind of remembering.
Used to doing it.
Used to doing it. So this is one way. Okay, we'll try Scott's way, even though it's wrong. Anyway, no. So I'll go into here.
See, this is how cool we are when we work together. Is that I see things different, he sees things different, and we always come up with a new way to do something, or a way that I didn't think, or he didn't think, or whatever. Because Ed's usually wrong.
Yeah. So anyway, being that I taught Scott everything about sequencing. Anyway, I got a story about that, but I'm not going to tell it because
don't tell it. Yeah, it's epic fail.
Epic fail. 3 strikes. So as you guys see, I'm kind of coming into here, and I just kind of copied these, and I'm kind of arranging them this way, and then we'll try Scott's way, because I didn't even think about that. I'm just so used to the old days of like, oh, I'm going to copy this, and I'll move this here, and move this here, and make an arrangement this way. Oops, cancel. Yeah, this. I love the "Are you sure?" I love the "Are you sure?" because that's always good. So all right, so I just kind of made an arrangement, and you know what? I'm going to delete this guy. Let's see, delete. Oh, that's always scary. Yeah, delete that one, and you guys will see why. And I'm going to delete just that one, not all. You got to be careful. Okay, and I think you guys will kind of see what I'm talking about here. So now I just kind of went in, and I set up, so pattern A is going to be just the drums. Pattern B is going to be drums and bass. Drums and electric piano. C is going to be drums, electric piano, and bass, and this one will be drums, piano, bass, and strings, and then just drums again. Okay, so I'm going to go in, and I'm going to turn on one of the new pad modes. The pad modes I am going to use is what, Scott? Probably
variation
play. So
that way you can go through the lines real easily.
Yeah. So now look, if I when I hit this, I can jump around. Okay, so let me get out of the edit area. Okay, great. Now you'll be able to see better. So it's just triggering there. Now it triggered there. Oh, sorry guys. Here we go. Pad 1. Pad 5. Right down here. So that's probably the way that I'm used to doing it, and the cool thing is it kind of felt very linear to me in doing it that way, where I can just take those different blocks, and we were just using what, a 2-bar phrase, but
right, and this is definitely a great way to do it. Now, one thing is that you are taking up a lot of space to do what could be done in one single line. Which is the other way.
Let's do this.
So we can show you how to do that.
Let's do this other way. So let me show you guys this. So, okay, just to make it easy, well, I guess we'll be doing this D. We'll use the D. Okay, we'll use that one. All right, Scott. So I guess the next thing we'll do, and let me switch to the screen, is Scott's going to probably want us to go into group. Is that correct, Scott?
Correct, yeah. So basically, when you go into grouping or group, you've got to pick what you want to play. So it can either be a straight line, or it could be a certain pattern that's in that line. So like in the D line, you see 4 sitting there. Let's say we just want the drums. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can mute the other parts. You can either put your finger on the screen on that part and hold it down till it mutes, or you could go into the pad mode and go into not the variation play, but the other one.
Okay,
and shut them off. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Okay, let me do that for him right now. So I'm gonna go into pad mode once again right here, and then I'm going to choose number 9, which is the pattern mode.
Okay, so so on the D row. What do you want it to start with? Drums, bass? What do we want to do here?
Well, I probably wanted to start. You know what? You do this part of the show, and you tell me. I'll I'll just do whatever one you say. So
All right, let's just rebuild it the way that you put it in there. So what we want to do is we just want to single out the drum groove.
Okay.
So if you're on line D or something like that, mute the other parts and just make sure that when you hit play, the only thing that's playing is the drums.
Okay, so all I have to do is I'm gonna put my finger on those because you see it's ready to play. So I hold it down, and it went dark right there. There's no play pause standing by. I'll do the same thing for D2. Nope. Watch. Hold it down, and you'll see that it changed color. So there's no play. It's not gonna play.
It's muted.
It's
at that
muted.
point.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So what do I do from here, Scott?
All right. So if you've got everything muted the way you want, you should be able to. What you want to do at this point is go into grouping.
Okay, hold on. So I'm going to press the group button right here next to pattern. All right, now go back to that screen. Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, and that screen should show how many bars you want it to go and everything else. It is basically going to group what you have live on the screen. So if you only have one part lit or one zone, then it should be that. If there are several, they're all going to happen at the same time. But you can easily call this, you want to set it as a group. So you would hit the, where it says, actually go to exit out and go to group, not grouping.
Oh, okay. Go to group. Okay,
Sorry.
Here we go.
Yeah.
It's all good. Great. There we go.
Should be. I got a little delay here, so bear with me, guys.
Absolutely.
But it should have a set option at the very bottom.
Well, I have my pattern at the option, and I can move to them. So I could hit pattern right here.
Okay, hit the group button. Yeah, like you got. Okay, so
hold on. I messed up.
Maybe it's grouping. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Loser.
I told you guys. No, I'm just playing.
I know.
Okay, hold on. Now I'm messing up. Okay, so go to grouping right here. Grouping?
Yeah.
All right, great. All right.
So grouping, yeah, they're listed in the right order.
Yep. So that one, it's already set to that D pattern, that D line. So
right.
I could probably just press set right here. Set to group 1.
Yeah, exactly. So what you would do is you would hit the set at the bottom, and then you can name it. You can rename it. So we could call it intro or something.
Yep, let's do that real quick. Right now, I'll just call it intro. Great. Okay, so that's there. Awesome. Okay, so...
Are you sure? Yep. Okay, so now once that's set in there as an intro, you could easily go into the group and set the amount you want it to play. Let's say you want it to go 4 bars or 8 bars or something longer.
Okay.
You have that option there. But to then set another group, you'd go back to the pattern screen. You pick what else you want to have turned on. Let's say we're going to bring in the bass on the second one.
Great. So I should have that there. Press play. And yeah, they're both on. And yeah, I see what you're saying. So I can come into here and... I don't know why the bass isn't playing. There we go. Let's give it a second to see.
So you might want to mute the keyboards, yeah.
Oh.
By holding it down.
Oh, that was my flub. All right, so I'll mute that keyboard because that was playing, and then I'll just hit the bass. So now we'll go. So now when I press play.
Perfect.
Those two are going to be set.
So now set that as a grouping.
So grouping. And then I'm going to cursor down to O2, the initialized grouping, and I'm going to say, okay, set those guys. And yes, I am sure. Oh, so I messed up the first one, I bet. Hold on, I'll have to redo the first one. So this is cool. And then I'll call this one, we'll call this one, rename it, and I'll just call it my A section. So clear all, and then we'll just call it A.
Or verse or bridge or whatever you want to call it.
But I'm going to go back over here because I messed up. And this one, let's go ahead and exit it one more time. I didn't turn off. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and fix my mistake. Go into grouping, go into the intro, and I'm going to set. And yes, I am sure. And yep. And now that should be correct. So being correct, what I messed up on is I had it so the drums and that keyboard part were playing when Scott wanted only the drums. So and we would have heard that on the playback. So On the grouping number two, the A, what I called the A, that one has the keyboards and the drums in there. All right, Scott. So let's do one more. And
Yeah. So bring in the keyboards or something and do the exact same thing.
and I'll bring all the guys in there. So now when I press play, everybody will play together. Okay.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna go into grouping, and I'm gonna go with another one, initialize grouping. I'm gonna hit set. I already chose all the guys that I want to play. So yeah, set. Are you sure? Okay. And so I'll rename these guys as let's call this clear all. I'll just call them my B grouping. That's fine. Okay, great. Okay, cool. So we have those in there.
So once you're done with that, then you can move over to group.
And hold on. So now I can hit group, either the button here or right here to group. Right there.
And now you should be able to see each thing that you put down, your intro, your A, and your B, and how long you want those to play, or how long you want to set those groupings to play. I mean, it could be 4 measures, it could be 2. So maybe intro do 1, group A do 2, and then do 3. The B as a little bit longer or something.
Because right now they're all set for 1. So here's where I would adjust that length right there. So I'll do that intro 2 to do 2 times, and I'll do this one to 4, and then let's do this one to 2, and hopefully I did it right. All right, great. And then now all I have to do is what? Press make song.
Make song.
Make song. And then at this point I can add the groups, the pre-done groups. So I might go the intro here. I might go ahead and say, you know what? Let's go ahead. Oops, let me back up. No problem. I'm going to say intro, add, and then I'm going to go to group B this time. I'm going to say add that group B. Then I'm going to go back to group A, add, and let's go back to intro, add, and then go to group B, and hopefully I did everything right. If not, it's okay.
If not, you can go back in and remove parts or change them around, but this gives you the option to completely decide, I want a bridge sooner, or I want the bridge to go longer, or something like that, and just completely change the arrangement so quickly because everything's in a pattern base. The other thing too is that you have more open slots in the matrix, if you're going off of lines. So in the A group or the A line, you would have all 16, and then the B, you would have all 16. So you can really get a lot of different things going if you're trying to do a lot. So this is just another option. But yeah, when you're done, Ed, hit play, and it should play the whole song.
Okay, I'll hit song, and let's see if I did it right. I might have done it wrong, but it's okay if I did it wrong because I could always go back and edit. And the great thing, before I play the song, if I make a mess up, I could always go back into where the original patterns are, and I can rearrange them and say, I messed up. I wanted this grouping for this, and that. And I get plenty of groupings to choose from, so I can come in there, 16 different groupings, and I can just move them around however I want. So let me go back and press the song button, which is right here. And here's our little song. Let's see what we got. So press the play. And that's it. That's actually pretty cool. We were able to go in there, and we just, like I said, if we go back and look at the pattern view, and I just press pattern right here, we just used basically those 4 patterns, and we just, as Scott showed, we did a grouping. So we showed a couple different ways you can do that. Definitely.
And one thing that you can do is you can select song and hit play, and then as it's starting to play, even go back to pattern and watch which ones are being triggered at which times, just to verify something.
Let's do that. So what did you say? I'll press song, So I'm in song. Is that what you said?
And then you'll hit play, and then once it starts playing, hit pattern.
Okay.
And then you'll go back to the pattern screen. You can see which ones are being triggered.
So I'm hitting song. I'm going to hit play, and I'll hit play here. And then I can hit, where'd it go? Pattern. There you go. Those are all playing. Oh, you totally see them. One more time. Here we go. Just drums. That was pretty cool. So that's once again, that was how a cool way we could do pattern mode. Once we have the pattern, we can go ahead and group them, decide who plays where, and that was done by just going in and touching the pattern you want to play, what pattern to play, and if I didn't want that pattern to play, I wanted it to mute. I don't have to hit the screen hard, do I, Scott? I just got to just let it recognize.
You just have to touch it. Yeah,
just touch it.
Tim brought up another good point, and this is something that I discovered in the song mode. It's like, okay, let's say you're putting your piece together, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just want to see if that transition from the verse to the chorus is correct in this one part, but I don't want to listen to the whole song. So he's kind of like asking, well, how do I play that song from the third section and not the first?
I'm going to press the song button. Great.
Song button, and once that's up on the screen, you can select which parts to skip over. I'm trying to remember what it is.
I think it's right here. I think you just push the skip.
Yep.
Skip over, and then I can just go ahead and tell it what to skip.
Yeah, you just tell it what to skip for now, and that will blank those out, and it will start exactly where you want it to start so that you can preview it.
Let me see if I got this right. So I just told it to skip. Okay, I just told it to skip. All right, hold on.
You have to. I think you have to touch the part. Which one to skip?
Okay, let me see.
Or hit enter.
Oh, here it goes. So you have to. Here it goes. You have to turn on skip, and then you touch what parts you want to skip. So I just told it to play the intro, but skip B and A and go right to that other intro, my 4. So, and skip is done right here. So now let's go ahead and press play, see what happens real quick. And it's going to skip B and A. Right there. Perfect. Very quick. So once again, the move was that we just press song, and then all we need to do is press skip, and then we just touch what we want it to skip. So you can try specific sections right in there. And then once you're done, you can just go ahead and you unskip them. You turn skip, so it turns on that feature, and then they're back on. So that's pretty cool.
And that's a good way to get around, because it's like that's one thing that can be annoying, is that you're working on a song, let's say it's even 3 minutes long, and you just want to be in that one little section that's towards the end. You don't want to have to listen to everything in the beginning, or try to, in a linear sequencer, move the playhead all the way over there. You can just do this real quick and go skip. I just want to hear this part. So it is pretty quick with doing that.
Yeah, that could be a nice way to just see all of that real quick, making sure everything's going over here for you. Yeah, so that's a real quick way. And then another thing is right. It's set up into the 16, up to 32 different patterns. The way it's set up. But if you also press measure, it could be adjusted to measures depending on how many measures are per grouping. So you see right here, it does one. There's 1, 2, and then it goes. In the next grouping, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, because there's 4, and then the next one there's another 4, and then in the next one and measure 10. So this is a real good way. There's only 2, so you can see very quickly. They say I want to go to measure such and such, and that way you can do it rather than doing it in this grouping way. You can just hit measure, and depending on how many times you looped that pattern in that group, which is made up of patterns, it will adjust the measures accordingly, so you know exactly where those verse and choruses and all that stuff is at. So that's pretty cool. I'm hoping this has helped you guys and gals out there a little bit more with the sequencer and kind of felt it. Let's go back to the questions. I know Scott's pretty good about following the questions while I'm just here jabbering. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Tim asked, "How do you copy a zone?" Did we do that? We haven't done that yet, have we?
You copied the patterns from different zones.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is the question actually copying a zone? So in other words, you have an electric piano on zone 2 and you want to have another electric piano on zone 4. That's one thing. But let's say it's a certain pattern that you like and you want to double things. Let's say you got this killer bass line that's really, really fast and you want the synth lead to follow that.
Oh.
You can copy that pattern over to the synth lead and then they'll both play together.
Let's do that. So I got this bass part. Okay, so I got that part right there. Let me stop this. I have that part right here. I could always go into pattern utility. I can go into copy, and it's copied. And now I'm going to go into my, I think, number 5 was where I think I have a piano. And I should be able to put paste. Yep. And let's go
Sorry,
ahead.
Tim, but it's a good another one that we could do here. Yeah, we'll go through that in a second. Go ahead, Ed. Sorry.
Okay, cool. It's all good. And so now I copied that pattern, which was the bass, what the bass guy was playing. I copied into where I know there's a piano. And let me mute these other guys just so we can hear just those two together now. So, did I copy the wrong guy? I copied the wrong guy. No problem. I'll go ahead and let's go back, pattern utility. And I'm going to mute. I'm going to get rid of that one. That wasn't a mistake. Delete. Cool. And then I'm going to go back to here. This was my bass guy. I believe it was. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and I'll copy that pattern and I'll put it on number 5, which should be correct. And let me go back into the patterns. Yeah. So there's the piano guy playing the same thing as the bass guy. Let's go ahead and press play, and they're both armed. So here we go. So they're both playing. So right there, I can come in and I'll go ahead and split so you guys can see. I can go ahead and adjust my volume so you can hear. That's number 2 and number 5. There's the bass guy, number 2. There's the piano, number 5. And then I can mix them. Cool. So yeah, so there is absolutely a way you can go in there and say, okay, I like what this guy was doing in this zone, this pattern, and I want to copy it to another zone, and then I can just match up the sounds that way, the tones that way. Cool.
Okay, so Tim's question was actually copying a zone. So it sounded like he just wanted to move that that sound over. Usually I just grab the sound and just select it for the next zone.
I haven't tried that. I don't even know if that. So we're talking about going back into. Let's see. Let me exit out of here. We're talking about going into the zone, and just saying, "Oh, I want that sound again in another one." I haven't tried that like that. So say like I like this phaser EP, and I want to go ahead and move it to number 5. I think that's what Tim's asking, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know of an easy way to do that other than to just grab zone number 5 and select the same part.
Yeah. You know? Well, here's probably what and this is probably what I would do, Tim. If it's a sound that I like a lot, and because you're gonna develop your favorite sounds, I would probably come into here and I would press enter, and I would see that phaser EP, and I would probably rate it. I'd put a 3 by it. And I said, oh, of the phasers, that's the one that I like. And then I would just come into here. I would go down into this one. And then I would just hit the electric piano area right there. And then I would go in, press enter, and hit it. And there's my phaser. Oops. And then I would say, okay. And that way now I have it there. But as far as how to copy it, let me go into... I'm going to go inside the zone edit and maybe, just maybe, but I'm kind of like with Scott, but let's try. Let's see. Okay, let's say I got this phaser edit. Once again, it's in 5. I want to put it in 6 now. All right, let's just see what happens. Let's go to this utility and see what this does, Scott. It's zone initialize, and I think that's all it's for. So we might not be able to do that. We might just have to go into here and then just go ahead and put it in here that way.
Yeah,
I think so.
I hear what you're saying, Tim. Tim is saying copying, duplicating a zone can be very helpful if you've done very specific adjustments to the zone and you want it in another zone with a minimal adjustments. The best way to do that is make sure you save the tone that's in that zone and then recall it. I don't know of a way to do that on even any other keyboard, even though there might be. It's usually just recalling that. And if it's something that you like and want to recall in the future, I would write the tone and then just pull it back in. And then when you're done with this, Ed, there was another question. So keep going.
Shoot. I think I'm done with this. Yeah, because that's like I'm starting to go in here and find the sounds that I tend to favor. And if there are ones that I really like, I'll go ahead and rate them with a 3-star. And that's how I'll find my sounds real quick. And I'll just build them that way. But I understand what you're saying, Tim. Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, so Jose Menendez is having a difficulty configuring the buttons, the S1, S2, and S3.
Oh, okay.
For example, to put a tremolo on an accordion.
Oh,
so
nice.
I can explain how you would go about doing this, and then maybe we can kind of show it.
Okay.
So the S1, S2, and S3 buttons can be assigned to anything.
Yeah.
And what you would want to do is you need to connect it somehow to the effect. So in a lot of cases, you've got to, easiest way to do it is to assign it to a CC number, a control change number that's maybe not being used, unless there's one that comes up and says vibrato or tremolo, something specific. But you would hold shift and push S1, let's say, for example.
Shift, S1, boom.
All right.
Here's the screen.
And it's going to show you what it's assigned to, and you can change that. So, Ed, if you want, just pick like an odd CC number, like 12 or 86 or something.
What year were you born? That's definitely an odd number.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Okay, that's rude. Okay, wait a minute. I don't think they have numbers that old. Okay, wait a minute.
Wow.
All right. I'm going to put it in 1960. I mean 60. Okay, no, it's okay. Great. 60. That's what I'm going to make the S1 assigned to CC60. Okay. Please continue.
All right. So once that's assigned to 60, then you would go into that zone or whichever one you're trying to do and assign the effect that you want to turn on. For this instance, it was a tremolo, right?
Okay.
So you would want to make sure that your MFX for that accordion or whatever sound you're using here, Ed, for example, is set with a tremolo for the effects.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and find real fast. Let me get back into there just so you guys can see. I'll go into here and I'm going to find an accordion sound. Oh-hoy! So get that accordion. Let's see here. There we go. Find an accordion. And the accordion, guys, I'll press enter so we can see. Accordions, I think, are right. Yeah, here we go. The reed organ. Let me see. Shift. Oh, here's something that you guys might not know. If you do the arrows, it's going to jump within the different tone list, the different category. But if you hold down shift and hit arrow, it moves the upper. So you can actually go very quickly through there. So that's what in there. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and I'm going to choose a squeeze box accordion like this. Okay, so I got the accordion there now, Scott. So I'm going to press okie dokie. All right, now I'm here, and then you should be able to see soon. Now I need to go where for the effects, and here, let me
You need to go to probably effects edit, so that would be the menu button.
Okay, so got my squeeze box. I'm going to go into the menu right here, and then I'll go into my effects edit right here, and let's go ahead. We wanted to choose MFX, and there's my internal. There's my MFX right here, and I'm going to go into the edit button right there. Okay, great. And currently right now, it's set to enhancer, and What did he want to do, Scott? Do you
He
remember?
wanted a tremolo. So let's see if we can find a tremolo.
Tremolo real quick. Great. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Doot, doot, doot. All right, tremolo. Okay. Okay, I'm in my tremolo. And you hear it?
So now what we need to do is edit that tremolo.
Okay, so I'll hit edit within there. There we go. So I can see in here, and I'm going to probably adjust the rate of that a little bit faster. Let's do it at 7 hertz. Great. So I just adjusted that right there. All right, now I'm going to press exit from here because I have that. All right, now where do we need to go, Scott?
All right, so what we need to do is we basically need to assign the tremolo or the effects on and off to the designation of CC60.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to look through there. I'm way behind here.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go ahead and exit real quick, and I would probably go menu once again, and I would probably go into my tone edit, and let me just go down real quick. Tone edit. And I might be messing up, but let me see.
Yeah, it's in the effects. It's in one of the windows of where to assign it. You'll see like source and designation, and that's kind of like the on and off. Sometimes some of the effects just have an on and off switch that you can assign, but with some of those, yeah, you want to look for the designation of the effect.
So I got that, and I'm just finding it real quick. Let me look down. Oops, don't mess up my stuff here. Okay. Oops. Okay. Exit, and I'm looking real quick in here. This will be audio in. Let me see. I don't think it's going to be in the scene edit. Hold on. Let me look right in here. See, so the switch assign is to 60, and let me go back into there, into the zone edit right here, and let me just take a quick peek where it is. And let's see, my offsets. Oh, you know what I bet you it is? I bet you it's in the tone edit, and I'm going to push to pro edit right here. I think right in there. I know I'm close because we've done it so many times, but I can't remember right now.
Yeah, but it's different in where it's set up in the FA, and it's different in some of the Juno Diaz and things. So it's remembering which one is it.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, we're always jumping around on boards, so. Oh, here it is. Okay, thank you. All right, let's do it again. So, don't mess up, Ed. Okay, so I just went into the tone edit of that zone 1. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so it's in the tone edit here, and it's all the way at the bottom. So I'm in tone 1, the accordion, you should be able to see. And we went into the effects edit and chose what effect, did whatever editing we wanted to do. But then I went into tone edit, and it's all the way down at the bottom, and past matrix control, and then here we go, MFX. We could have done it here. Probably should have just did it all in there. That's probably my fault. I'll take the hit on this one. Okay, so MFX control, now is where the money, here's where we want to be. So control source, what's that mean, Scott?
Control source is what is controlling it, what is turning it on, what is it, what's being used to affect it.
So that's where we put that CC number, CC60, because we're saying, hey, CC60 is what's going to recognize, and control destination is what of that control is there. And so, you see here on this particular effect, it's rate and depth. That's what we have there. So in this one, we want to do rate. So that should be set there. And we set this one to 1. Oh, and then I guess we need to do. I might have messed up, but that's okay. We might have to go. Oh, let me
And
back.
then the control source, would
Yeah.
be
Yeah, CC60, and then hold on. I think I might have messed up with the MFX on the original. Let me put this one right here. Put it back to where it was on there. Let's adjust it down. I think that's right. Let's just do 3. Okay. Great. And then I'll go to control, MFX control, and then I should be able to adjust it. And let me just check real quick. I'll go right here so we can see. Shift and just make sure. Oh, hold on. Switch 60. Oh, S1. There we go. S1. I think I was pressing the wrong button. Okay, cool. So we'll go back into the zone edit. Excuse me. No, tone edit. Tone edit. There we go. Yeah, there it is. My bad. All right, cool. Hold on. I'm trying to adjust it so you can see. So right now, I have it to where when I press this S1, it kicks on that. I think that's what that's how we would do it in there.
That's exactly what I think he's trying to do. So basically what you got to do is that you'd have to assign the S1, S2, or S3 button to a specific control change number.
Yeah.
And then go into the tone edit where the MFX is and tell it, hey, I want this to control that.
Yeah.
And start messing with it until you get it exactly how you want. And you could do that even with delays and things to turn them on or off or change the tempo or time or whatever.
Yeah, and now what about this, Scott? Does he have to save this? Let's take a look. So
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And again, the S1 buttons and things like that can be saved at the scene level. So the S1 button could turn on this tremolo for this scene,
but
in a completely different scene, it could be something different.
But let's see. If we take a look, and I'll hit zone view, look at that. The squeeze box, since we changed the effect of it, it needs to be saved. That tone needs to be saved because that's custom now.
Correct.
Yeah. So what was his name? I'm just following.
I think it was Jose Mendez.
Jose Mendez. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you would have to go into here when you press right, since we had just adjusted the tone, and the way you would know this is you would see the asterisk, the little yellow asterisk right there. You would just press right, and instead of scene this time, you would do tone, and then you would name it something you could remember. Like squeeze box chicle. He's going for chicle. It's what that is, Scott? It means gum. At the end of the accordions go chicle, chicle, chicle. That's what that thing that he's trying to do.
Gotcha. You just made me think of chiclets, which was the little gum.
Well, kind of, yeah. In Spanish, chicle means
those
that.
things were great.
So
but the problem is you'd eat the whole bag. Anyway.
Okay, so I digress. So yeah, we would name it whatever you wanted to in there. So name that, and then after you did that, and I'm exiting, then I would press right again, and I would save the scene. So that would save. So you have to save the tone, the custom work you did on the effect on the tone, because the original accordion tone did not have tremolo. I think it was some kind of EQ or something. Put that on there to save that to that tone, and then the S1 and S2, all these buttons are to the scene. So you would save all of that. So do tone and then scene, just FYI.
Now, the tone should save all that stuff if you were to bring it up, which we should try. We should try and bring up that tone you just saved.
Okay.
New scene and see what saves.
Let's see. Let's do that. So I didn't save it yet, but I didn't get out. So I'm going to save it as a tone, and I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call it, instead of what it's called, I'm going to backspace, squeeze box. Hold on. And I'm going to call it gum. For chicle. Gum. Get paid in gum. All right.
Yeah, the other gum that was dangerous was the Big League Chew.
Big League Chew.
About That Big League Chew, man, was the best gum. Again, the whole bag would wind up in your mouth and would probably last about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes until you're like, okay, I've had enough. But it was awesome. We had the best childhood.
All right, I don't know where Scott went right there, so we're gonna get back to our program. Anyway, so let's see here. He's tired now. Okay, so we just save this scene as Squeezebox Gum, and then I'm gonna save the scene, and we'll call this, clear it all, and I'll call it my gum accordion. Just ACC. That's fine. That's fine. I'll save it in that same spot because once again, our phantoms are all over the place with trying this and that. All right, great. So now I'm going to go to another scene, an initialized scene, and let's see what we have, Scott. So I'll go into zone view, and I'll go ahead, and I'm going to find that accordion again. So I'll hit any of my scenes over here. I think it was in this section, and I can just press enter. And remember, if I go ahead and hold shift and hit the arrows, I can move around going through the different subcategories in here. So this reed accordion, reed organ, and then there's the accordion over here. Great. And if I look, now I can use just my regular ones. And let's see, where is it? Is it in there? Oh, wait, I see it right here. Squeezebox Gum. Now, if I want to make this where it comes up fast for me, I can always go ahead and rate it. So I can do 1, 2, 3. Great. Okay, so now if I hit the star, boom, it just comes up right away as one of my favorite accordions right away. Squeezebox.
Yeah, because one of the things that we realize is after you've got all 15 expansions loaded in this, you're in the neighborhood of 8,600 sounds on board. So rating them can be very, very important to find things quickly in categories or the entire machine.
And then naming them, when you do a search, you can just name it your initials before each sound that you've edited and you want to make it yours. All right, so I'll get back. So Squeezebox Gum. Now let's look. Since this is a new scene with Squeezebox Gum accordion. Everything should be correct. So I'm going to take a look as far as in the tone edit. Let's take a look
and see if it's saved those settings.
It saved the tremolo. It saved that. Now I just wanted to see. And then MFX, it saved it to CC60. You see it at the top here. So cool. And it saved it to destination is hertz. So it locked all of that information into the actual tone. Now let's see what let's see what the scene has saved. So I'm going to go into S1, Shift S1. Let's see what's saved there. And it's back to modulation because that particular S1, S2, and S3 are scene specific, not necessarily with the tone. So only thing I have to do is press enter, go into Scott's birth date of 1960. Say it 3 times, it's true. All right, exit, and then I can go ahead and I have it set. The switch I have set for momentary, which means I have to hold it down. Every time I let go, it's going to stop, or I could have it latch. That's your own personal thing. And now if I go ahead and do it, here's S1. And then all I would have to do if I wanted to write it, I would write it as the scene. That's all I would have to do. That'd be pretty cool because we saved the original tone with those new effects in there with that tremolo effect in there. So just FYI. Yeah, so that's pretty cool stuff. All right, guys, let's see. Is everybody have a good time? Just check in. I see a lot of people actually still watching, and that's great, and I love this. Yeah, Walter, I do know accordions and stuff. I am from Texas, so I also know about doing accordions with with the flanger and stuff like that, and chorus and delays, and that could be a whole video by itself showing on there. Mini chiclets, you're sick, Robin. Mini chiclets, the mini ones. Okay, cool.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah, I think we're getting all punch drunk. Everybody's like, let's talk about gum. No. Or yes, if that's what you need to be a nice person, it's all good. You can talk about gum. But anyway, I think we're at the good point. We're 2 hours in, 2 hours and 13 minutes in right around there. And I think this is a good time for today. Go ahead and put in the chat or in the comments if you make it this far. Put in the chat, what do you want to do more? Do you want to do more Fantom tomorrow?
Well, one of
Go
the things
ahead.
that we still need to cover is we need to figure out the program change things in MainStage
Okay.
or Logic. So we definitely need to go over that.
Okay, so
as soon as possible.
We'll put that in there. I'll go ahead and uninstall. I'll uninstall the profiles for Logic and MainStage and see if that's an option in there, because I'm kind of curious too, because I do also like, if I'm going to use MainStage, I do like using the Fantom to control my externals, and so that'd be really interesting to see if that's a solution. So it's and you know what, even if we did take out those, if we took out those profiles, the Fantom, just so all of you know, the Fantom would still work as an audio MIDI interface for any DAW. Okay, that would not affect the Fantom's functionality as an audio MIDI interface. Is that correct, Scott?
That is correct. I mean, it would just act as any other keyboard. The profiles were to add a function so that you could have some control directly from the Fantom itself instead of having to reach over and tweak things in the computer.
Yeah.
But I do understand at the same time where Greg's coming from. He wants the best of both worlds. And, you know, I think I would want that too. So we need to go through it and test it and see what it's capable of and what it's not, and then assess it at that point.
Okay, I see Robin already asked for more Jupiter X and more Fantom. We are going to do more Jupiter X, especially as the month goes in, and I think I just need to wait on... We could probably do some more Jupiter X very soon. I want to do a little bit more Fantom. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. Dude, I'm doing a podcast, and you're ruining it. You're in it, you know? You're in the podcast, so now it has to be rated NC-17. I'll call you back. All right. I'll snap. Later. Bye. All right. That was Austin Sandick, a.k.a. Captain Caveman. If you see him in person, just call him Captain Caveman, and he'll cuss my name. But anyway, yeah, we have more Jupiter X and more Fantom, definitely, because we still have to cover sampling. We still got to cover the Fantom X changing external sounds of the Jupiter X, or vice versa, because they all do that stuff together. So more Jupiter X and more Fantom.
Yeah, and Jupiter
Definitely.
X and XM. I mean, the XM just had a major update, which is version 1.20 that's now available. We need to go over some of that features and things, and I just love that piece.
Yeah, I love that too, and it does take us a little bit to go over it, because you see here, Scott and I, when we go in doing keyboards, and he has his in front of his, and we can both see, we have spent 8 to 12 hours on a single piece. I know we went over the JDXI when it first came out. We did what we call whiteboarding, and we were in the same room, and we spent the whole day just going over the ins and outs of the JDXI.
Well, you got to remember, with a lot of the products that we get in the beginning, like with the JDXI, there was no manual, there was no information on it. We had to figure it out and understand, well, wait a minute, this is a supernatural synth engine, and it should have 3 partials, and it should have this, and that's how we were able to uncover it.
Yeah,
through the whiteboard and stuff.
Okay, and then a pretty cool question here. Douglas Carmichael asked, what soft synth hosts are most used in professional production touring situations? Scott, why don't you take this one first, and then I'll put my opinion. So what soft
depends on who you ask. I'll give you an example. David Rosenthal, amazing player, plays for Billy Joel. He uses a ton of keyboards on stage, but everything's running MainStage, and he has 3 redundant systems for MainStage. Billy Joel's piano is actually Ivory, the software for Ivory. So everybody uses different things. I've always been more of a hardware guy personally. I love software, but live, I just prefer hardware. I'm used to being in hardware. But that's what I see mostly. And then, of course, you've got Gig Performer that just came out recently. I'm seeing more guys use that.
Yeah.
But because it will work on both platforms, PC and Mac. But
Mac
MainStage has been around for a while, and a lot of people are definitely using that.
Hey,
Go
so
ahead.
real quick, when you said redundant main stage, just so our viewers understand, what do you mean by redundant?
Redundant.
About what do you
Redundant. So
mean when you say
there's three
redundant
separate
rigs?
systems. Yeah, there's three separate systems that are doing the exact same thing. If one fails, he can
Ah,
easily jump to the next one.
so
And if
since
that one failed, he'd go to the next one.
so with that being said, there's probably, let's assume, for these live touring rigs, and we're talking world tours, and stuff can happen. So what Scott's saying is there might be three separate laptop rigs, each all running
Exactly.
main stage, and they're all in sync. So that way, if something happens to this rig number one, the person operating it, and usually not the musician, it's the tech, they can easily go boom and switch to that secondary rig, and then so that's and there'll be little to no difference in the sound. It's just going to be pretty much instantaneous. Okay,
Exactly.
So
I mean,
that's what we mean.
David has a pedal on stage with him, which is actually, I think it's an FS5U that he's using. It's his Boss pedal, but he can step on that at any point and switch to the next unit. I mean, you can imagine if you're working for somebody like Billy Joel, you can't have that stuff go down. You have to be sure of it.
Yeah, most of these tours, absolutely. Let's see. My opinion on this is I've seen MainStage a lot. I saw Depeche Mode a couple years ago, and the entire show was at that time MainStage. So I think their keyboard guy, I can't remember his name, he was playing an RD2000, and then there was a bunch of Roland A Pro controllers on stage, and then I did a little bit of homework, and I found out that the guitar guy for his rig was also MainStage, and so it was pretty cool. For me, I enjoyed the show because Depeche Mode's cool, but I also enjoyed the nerd stuff that was going on in the background. That somebody was there with multiple laptops and everything's synced together. Where when they hit a song, or I guess they had a concert, Scott, and so when they would do a patch, that patch was not just, it was just sending out to the entire stage.
Yeah, it was probably all set up with some sort of a rig, whether if it was Pro Tools or Logic or something like that, or Cubase, and it was telling everything when to switch, and they just had to worry about playing and performing, and not much more. Again, I still prefer hardware.
Yeah,
that's just who I am. There's something about being able to reach up and grab something a little bit easier than some of the controllers that are out there, but yeah.
And before we get off this topic, I see Walter and some of the guys still prefer rock solid hardware. On a recent tour that I think just got canceled, I was helping an artist with the backing of the keyboard stuff. They were using pretty much all Roland. I think another brand, I think a Kronos, and we were working out to have it set up to where the Fantom, one of the Fantoms would send patch changes. It was like the master. It would send patch changes to a Kronos, and then through the Kronos through Integra, and then since the Fantom has MIDI out, two MIDI outs, the other MIDI out was going through a JDXA and a Jupiter X. Jupiter X. Yeah. And so, but then his stage guy wanted to know if they could change the Fantom, since the Fantom was the master within the rig. We were having it set where the Fantom scenes, and the scene had all that information. The scene was controlling all that external gears, Integra, Kronos, Jupiter X, JDXA, plus its own sounds. They were saying, well, how do I change everything if I want to do it off stage? And so we were setting it up to where they could do it, and I think they were using Logic. I want to say they were using Logic, so that way when they in the tune, when they would go to the backing tracks that they were playing along with this artist, when they hit the marker, it would change the Fantom, and in turn the Fantom would change the entire hardware rig. So so that's what we were kind of working on with them. But then the previous tour that they did, it was just, I think on that one we were using two Jupiter 80s. So one Jupiter 80 was doing one side of the rig, and then it was sending to another Jupiter 80 a handoff, and then that Jupiter 80 would do the other side of the rig. So I do love hardware because it just works. I just love it. And this was all just done through MIDI cables.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that you'll see a hardware synth crash.
Yeah, it is.
Whereas
It is.
computers still can.
They still can, and I'm still scared. And also the danger of taking your Mac or your whatever computer out to a gig and then you walk away and then it's gone. Someone just asked me, Douglas Carmichael just asked me, can you get the classic D50 sounds in the Fantom? And I'm going to say yes. There are over 8,000 sounds once you put all the expansion boards. And they sound good. Everything sounds good.
Well,
you know,
you also find things like Staccato Heaven and Fantasia, and a lot of the classic D50 sounds are sitting there right now.
I wonder,
just in the Zencore engine.
I wonder. Let's see. This might be kind of cool. Let's see. I haven't even looked. Let's go into the zones here and into the tones, and I'm just gonna go all category. Okay, so it's gonna look in all categories, and I'm gonna do the search function. And I want to see if I put D50, and I'm going to do D50 a couple ways. Look, if I just type in D50 like that, and I press OK, look, I have 43 hits of, it starts off with D50. Let's see what I get. Yeah, check it out. There's the 3 pages of D50. So what was that, over 40 sounds of D50 right in there. Oh, look, Staccato Heaven, what Scott said right away. Right in there. So...
I mean, these sounds were used so much, but they're classic.
They're
awesome.
They're classic. I see, what do we got? A horn section? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so there's a D50 is alive and well in there, just FYI. So, and once again, all I did, everybody, is I just went into a tone, I pressed enter, and instead of just choosing a particular tone, I hit the drop-down menu, right there, and I chose all category, and then I just searched. I wasn't sure I was going to come up. I just searched D50, and it came up. Let's do one more. I'm just kind of curious now. Let's see, Jupiter. How would I do Jupiter? Probably just. Let's do JP.
Yeah, you
JP.
could do JP8 or JP.
Let's just
probably how they're going to be listed under JP.
I just hit JP8. Let's see what we get, and we get a lot of Jupiter stuff in here. So you see, it's pretty easy. Let's just
do Juno.
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 All right, let's look up Juno real quick. Juno, we would probably type in JU. Let's try JU. Let me do NO. Oh, I just typed in Juno. Let's see what we get. Survey says, look at this one. No Juno. No?
So maybe JU.
Yeah. Oh, Juno Brass. So there are a lot of stuff in there, and I just did that search in there, and I just did all categories. So that's pretty cool. That's cool. All right, let me see. Blah blah blah. Let me see. I don't mean blah 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 in a mean way. My brain.
Yeah,
just like,
Doug had asked about. What did he say? He said
the Omnisphere?
Diaz 2000, RD2000. That brings up a good point. Do most touring players go for weighted action for a main keyboard because of what they're used to? I've heard weighted keys are not good for synth. My response to that is I use an 88 key for everything. Whether if it's organ sounds and swipes and rakes or keyboard leads, I guess it depends on
the player.
What works best for you,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously synth action makes more sense, or waterfall action for organ. But yeah, I mean, if that's how you want to use it, you can definitely use it.
Yeah, and then what is, like, speaking of, like, let's talk about Jordan real quick. He uses 88 for most of his things.
Everything.
And that's just his preference. That's his preference because I think he probably came up with playing acoustic piano, and then his technique is such where you just put him on. Well, he'll even play mini keys and iPad and and all this other stuff. Where other guys are very particular. They don't want to do a piano on a synth action because it just doesn't feel right to them. It's gonna sound great, but it's just a mental thing. So I don't like to play organ on a weighted action just because it hurts. It hurts. But then also there's that weighted action on the 88s. It might be too heavy. Now, if for me to carry in and off a gig. Now, if you're doing a tour or something, it doesn't matter to me because you have techs and stuff, guys that'll take it for you. So it's all personal. It's all personal preference. There is no right or wrong. Because someone like Jordan or some of the other cats we've mentioned earlier, you just throw keys in front of them and they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's amazing and how they can adapt so quickly. Because it's like with certain things that are smaller, or iPad apps or whatever, I go to hit an octave and I overshoot it, or I undershoot something, and it's like those guys they don't miss a beat. I just don't understand how they can do it.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, Douglas, you're getting into a little bit specifics about touring musicians. I don't know in the ins and outs. I don't think Scott does as well about are most technicians in the touring industry freelancers or hired specifically by artists, touring companies? Bottom line,
depends.
It's all over the place, but when I've talked to different musical directors of different tours, I ask them, how do you choose who's on the tour with you? And some of it might be the look they're doing, can they play? But a lot of it, and what they know, but then sometimes a lot of it is, I know this one MD I spoke to, good friend of mine, he's like, it depends. I look at that person I'm about to hire in the band, it's like, can I be on tour with them for a year? It's
can I get along with them?
Can I get along with them? I'm going to have to.
Them to do,
I might have to sleep in a bus with this person. So, sometimes it comes down to personal. So that's just FYI. So I think we're going to end it here. Like I said, we're going to continue with some more good stuff on the Fantom and the Jupiter X. RD, we might revisit a little bit, but to be honest, we didn't get the people watching on the RD. So if RD comes up, that might be cool. But we might address it just strictly through the Facebook page for the RD, just FYI. So we'll see what happens there. But definitely we're going to cover more on the Fantom as far as sampling and sequencing and just a lot of stuff going on. And then, of course, we're going to get more into the Jupiter X in there too. Jupiter X, Jupiter XM, and I'm just joking. And the top secret. No, I'm just playing. And as soon as we can get RD88 in here, we'll probably cover that because I think that one might be the first one, Scott, that has MIDI, the MIDI protocol 2.0. I think that one's the first one.
I don't know if the RD88 has that. We know that the A88 Mark II does.
Oh, the A8.
Sure.
Okay.
I think that's the one that wound up with it because it's USB-C coming out of that instead of a B connection like we have in most of our keyboards.
Yeah.
But the RD88 is more a souped up version of what the RD300s were.
Oh yeah.
And can do more with MainStage connectivity and stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna see in there. So anyway, we're gonna let you go for now because we're going into like 2.5 hours and we need a break. But anyway, I just wanted to stop by thanking all of you guys for tuning in, guys and gals, musicians out there tuning in this time.
Absolutely.
When we're all in self-quarantine and everybody hopefully is taking care of themselves. Hopefully you are listening to your local authorities and just doing the right thing. Please be nice to each other. Take care of your elders. Take care of the elderly around you. Don't be a bad person and don't hoard too much. And just take care of yourself. Get a lot of rest. And during this time, we are going to learn as much as we can about synths and keyboards and all kinds of nerd stuff. So that way, when we emerge from this, you guys are just even more of killer musicians, technically, all the way around. All right, this is Ed Diaz. And what's your name?
Scott.
He had to think about it, everybody. Anyway, signing off. You guys take care, and we will see you tomorrow. We're going to determine what the topic will be, and just drop us a line. If you're digging this, let us know in the comments, not the chat. Let us know in the comments, and if you have any connection to Roland, let them know you love what we're doing, too, because that all helps us all out. All right, you guys.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
Be safe, and we'll talk to you next time. All right, bye.
Bye.